Pokemon Champions has 58 Mega Evolutions available to use, and some of the ones that are rising to the top are kind of surprising. Some are way more viable than we expected, and many are pretty disappointed with the general power level of the new Megas from Legend ZA. Let's rank all of the available Megas in Pokemon Champions in the context of the official competitive doubles metagame. At the very bottom of the list, folks, some things never change. In my singles Mega rank, the worst Mega was Mega Ordino, and this is also true in doubles, and there was never any doubt about it. Unfortunately, Mega Ordino is horrendous in both competitive formats. How tragic. Now, when I was putting this list together, I actually didn't expect Mega Ordino to be at the very bottom, because it does have a doubles-focused ability, Healer. This ability does literally nothing in singles, but in doubles, there is a 50% chance every turn to cure your ally of their status ailment. That at least has a purpose in competitive doubles. But in practice, this effect is not actually that useful at all. Even if you do get statused and have Mega Ordino next to you, which is kind of a specific situation to begin with, there's RNG involved in whether you actually cure your damn status ailment, and it only applies to your ally, not even yourself. So the stars really have to align for this to be useful and save you. And this would be an alright ability if Mega Ordino had a good doubles utility beyond just this ability, but it really doesn't. I actually thought Mega Ordino had more than this, considering its ability is designed around doubles, but not really. It doesn't have Fake Out, it doesn't have Follow Me to redirect allies to attack it, it doesn't have very much of anything really. Its stats are unimpressive for a Mega, its defenses are okay, but doubles is a fast-paced format. You want to be more aggressive, and its offensive stats are very low. That might be forgivable if it had actual utility, but it simply doesn't. The best it has is Helping Hand, I guess, which heaps of Pokemon get. That's not special at all. You would really be better off running a simple Clefable or something. Clefable is a fairy type with Helping Hand and way more other doubles utility. I mean, there are plenty of Pokemon that outclass Mega Ordino. Even Mousehold is destroying Mega Ordino. It's not even a damn Mega, it's a little mouse family, and Mega Ordino is paling in comparison. Very tragic. Mega Ordino simply does nothing except for maybe heal the status of your ally sometimes, which is just not going to cut it in the big leagues. I'm sorry. Up next is Mega Victreebel, a new Mega from Pokemon Legend ZA that many were excited to use. Now that we can actually use it in a competitive context, no one's using it. I haven't seen one Mega Victreebel, and it's clear why. The thing really stinks. Mega Victreebel's new ability is Innards Out, which is a pretty good ability sometimes. If you are KO'd by an attack, you will reflect back the damage to the attacker that you just took. So it's kind of like a built-in explosion or something, a way to sacrifice yourself to damage the enemy. But beyond that, Mega Victreebel is not achieving much else. The best it could hope for is a good trade with Innards Out. And often in doubles, you're not actually getting one hit KO'd by one Pokemon. Two Pokemon are hitting you, and it will only actually damage the attacker for the damage dealt, which won't even be the full health bar of the Pokemon much of the time. So it might be good if the opponent plays into it and KOs themselves, but even then, in the best case scenario, it's an even trade. And beyond this ability, what else is Mega Victreebel achieving? Its stats are really bad. It has mixed attacking stats and low bulk, and that terrible cursed 70 base speed, which isn't fast enough to outrun much and isn't slow enough to be any good in Trick Room either. I guess Mega Victreebel maybe has the benefit of its base form having Chlorophyll, so you could chuck a Victreebelite on a Victreebel when you're mostly using it for the Chlorophyll alongside Charizard Y or Torkoal or something, but that maybe a circumstance arises where you want to Mega Evolve and get Innards Out to sacrifice yourself for a KO. But I mean, come on, that's such a waste of your Mega slot to do that. It means you can't use Charizard Y anymore, and it also means that you don't get to use an item on your Victreebel besides the Mega Stone for a niche use case. It's just terrible, folks, and it's rather disappointing. I was a Mega Victreebel defender in the visual design department. I thought it kind of looked funny. But this actual gameplay design, this is a terrible Mega, man. Its stats don't really serve it very well. Its ability is not useful. Quite disappointed with Mega Victreebel, especially because Mega Venusaur is right there, the same typing and just a way better Pokemon all around that has more to do. Mega Victreebel is not really distinct. Doesn't have a unique ability, doesn't do anything. Up next is Mega Clefable, another new Mega. And this one might not seem that bad. I mean, Mega Clefable does get a fairy flying typing, which is good, and its new ability is Magic Bounce, which is actually an excellent ability in singles at least, reflecting back various things to the opponent, such as hazards and status moves. But in doubles, Mega Clefable is really just not worth the Mega slot. Base Clefable is a good double support mon. It has viability, but Mega Evolving on this doesn't really help you. Magic Bounce, just not that amazing in doubles. Much more of a singles ability. In doubles, it's just a bit too passive and it doesn't achieve much. No one runs hazards here. Direct status moves are used, but they're not so ubiquitous that Magic Bounce is going to feel that amazing. I suppose you can block Parting Shot and other such things, but Clefable would much rather just stay in its base form and run either Magic Guard or Unaware instead, which are better and don't require you to waste your whole Mega slot on a guy that doesn't do much. At least Clefable, though, does get good doubles utility, so I guess if you're running Mega Clefable, you do have access to its great move pool, and that's something. But you're way better off just running the base form and not wasting your precious 1 per game Mega on this guy that doesn't really do anything meaningful over its base form at all, in the doubles context. Up next is Mega Glalie, and this guy is one of the worst Megas, of course. It's a Mega that is built off a Pokemon that already has very bad stats, with base 80 across the board, so it's a pretty low stat Mega, all things considered. It only has 120 in its attack and special attack and 100 speed. These will be pretty good stats on a normal Pokemon, but for a Mega, they are lackluster. But I put Mega Glalie above the other guys because perhaps it could be used on like a snow team with Alolan Ninetales, maybe. You get a defensive snow boost, they can Aurora Veil you, and you have Spread Blizzard, I guess, which is useful, and you have an okay special attack stat. This, of course, stinks, though. There is Mega Frostlass in the game, who is a lot better. I guess Mega Glalie can also have physical attacks, and it can turn its normal type moves into physical attacks with Refrigerate. It can Explode, which hits the whole field, and is an ice type move with increased power. I guess that could be what you do. You explode and then protect with your ally and clear the whole field. Maybe. Could be funny at least. Could be humorous. But I don't think comedy is going to get you anywhere in the competitive battling world. Comedically, Mega Glalie could be at the higher end of the list, but this is not a comedy tier list. This is a practical tier list where we're evaluating your combat skill. And I'm afraid that Mega Glalie is just completely outclassed by others and not worth the Mega slot at all. Oh, there's also the fact that in its base form it has Moody, so you could get insanely lucky and get like a speed boost initially, and then maybe with that speed boost you carry. But even then, even if you get the ideal boost, you're still this weak, frail, not that hard-hitting Pokemon that doesn't achieve very much at all. I do apologize to Glalie Nation, but this is the reality we live in. Mega Glalie is kind of nothing. Up next is Mega Sableye, and this is kind of crazy, because Mega Sableye is among the strongest Megas in singles, and one of the worst in doubles. In singles, this guy is a superstar with insane defensive typing, Magic Bounce, which goes crazy there, and excellent defensive move pool. But doubles is a fast-paced environment. We just spoke moments ago about how Magic Bounce is not as useful in doubles at all, and these sorts of defensive stally Pokemon also don't really thrive in doubles unless they have useful utility for your team that makes up for that, or something like the move Body Press, which can at least turn defense into offense a little bit. But Mega Sableye doesn't have either of those things. It sort of just sits there and doesn't achieve much in doubles. It at least has Fake Out, which is more than can be said for Clefable or Ordino. Great doubles move, but a crowd control that has a 100% flinch chance. It also can't be flinched itself because of its ghost typing, and dark typing means it can't be affected by Prankster. Its base form also has Prankster, meaning it can hit a priority Will-O-Wisp before Mega Evolving if it wants to. But to be honest, you would still actually be better off running base Sableye as a Prankster utility guy. Prankster very good in doubles just because priority on these utility moves is useful. But even then, there are better non-Mega Prankster users than Sableye as well. Gaining Magic Bounce doesn't help you. You are far too passive to thrive in this very fast-paced and aggressive world. But that's alright, Mega Sableye, because you're among the most powerful entities in the known universe over in the singles world. So you can't really complain, can you, Mega Sableye? Especially with all the strife you've caused to me over the years, you bastard. If you played against this guy in Gen 7.0, you believe me. No Pokemon is more deserving of such a low ranking on my list than Mega Sableye. It gives me immense joy to rank you so low, Mega Sableye. You and your big gem. You can't hide behind that big gem forever, you know. You can't hide behind it forever. You must face the music one day. Up next is Mega Heracross. I could be underrating this, folks, I don't know. It's very difficult to rank some of these lower megas in the context of doubles, because there's just often no examples of them being used in a serious context. At least the Smogon community has the usage tiers, so there are lower tier megas, and you have somewhere to look at to actually rank them all with data and stuff. But Mega Heracross, I've not seen a single time. There are far better physical attacking megas. In a vacuum, it's alright. It has Skill Link to hit multi-hit moves the maximum number of times every time. Great offensive ability, but I think it's too damn slow. It's also a Pokemon in the awkward middle speed tier of 75, not fast enough to outrun much, and too slow for Trick Room. If this guy was actually like 30 speed, it would maybe be alright in doubles, with its massive attack. But I think this guy's just gonna get eaten alive by Intimidate. I mean, there's Mega Charizard Y running around, you're going to get destroyed by a fire move. The typing, not great. The speed tier, not great. So much is going to just hit you and kill you in one. I don't see Mega Heracross really having much of a purpose in the current competitive doubles metagame. Even though in a vacuum it's a fine physical attacker, I suppose, it's just really not well suited to this metagame at all. Up next is Mega Pinsir, who I would put above Mega Heracross for a few reasons. First of all, Mega Pinsir has a better speed tier of 105. It actually outruns a lot of common megas. Many megas are in the base 100 speed tier. So Mega Pinsir has that going for it. Mega Pinsir also has, I think, better offensive tools. Aerolate is a good ability that turns normal type attacks into flying type attacks with a power boost. It has quick attack with priority, which has some value. Unfortunately, since Return is not in the game anymore, your best stab move is Body Slam, which kind of stinks actually. Return was actually really high power, flying type damage that maybe would have been good here, but the best you can do is Body Slam now. The guy doesn't even get double edge, regrettably. But you get Rock Slide, which is a great move in doubles that hits both opponents, and very good right now into Mega Charizard Y, who, of course, times 4 weak to Rock, especially because you outrun it. And then there's Lunge for Bug Stab. You also have high horsepower, and I must say that we're getting to the point where maybe if everything is a horse, nothing is. What are you talking about? Pinsir Mega gets high horsepower. A bug? It's a literal bug that gets high horsepower now. We're going to give it to Watchog. I bet Watchog does get high horsepower, the bastard. I bet you do get it. Anyway, that's an unrelated discussion. I gotta, at some point, update who is and isn't a horse in Pokemon, given the new information. Steelix also got high horsepower in Champions, which raises further questions that are very difficult to grapple with, but we'll get to that at another time. For now, we're talking about Mega Pinsir's viability in Pokemon Champions. It is just kind of a garbage typing. It does also get eaten alive by Intimidate, and there are better physical attackers, better uses for a Mega slot. It feels a little bit weak, but it has more merit than Mega Heracross. And it also sort of freaks me out. I don't like its sideways mouth with teeth on the left and the right of the mouth. I find that very scary, so that's another reason why I'm ranking it a bit lower. Up next is Mega Absol. Mega Absol Z not currently available in the game. Only this Mega Absol is available, and this is the old one. And I think it's just a little bit too frail to achieve much in competitive doubles. But at least it does have very good speed and high attack, I suppose. This guy gets Rock Slide too, which is cool. You have Knock Off and also Throat Chop for Dark Stab, and Throat Chop is kind of good to block sound moves temporarily, to block things from hyper-voicing you, like perhaps Mega Gardevoir, Sylveon, or Primarina. Plus it has a higher power against Megas, since Knock Off doesn't do the bonus damage against Megas. So maybe Throat Chop would be the Dark Stab of choice here, but I don't know if there is a Dark Stab of choice here when there's not much reason to use the Pokemon to begin with. It's simply too frail. That's the reality of it, and Magic Bounce is not doing you any favors, as I mentioned earlier. Even in singles, Magic Bounce isn't really helping Mega Absol much because it's a frail Pokemon. Usually more defensive Pokemon get value out of Magic Bounce, and for Mega Absol, I suppose it could prevent it from being Will-O-Wisped by a Rotom, or paralyzed by a Gyarados. It could prevent it from being parting shotted by an Incineroar. These are things that could happen. But actually Parting Shot would force it to leave. I think that's what happens when you Parting Shot into Magic Bounce, so I don't even know if that would be that amazing for you, actually. The fact that Mega Absol is so frail and also doesn't really one-hit anything and also takes up your Mega slot is a big detriment. It's not very good. Up next is Mega Sharpedo, who I'm sort of arbitrarily ranking above these other ones because I've also never seen this, but in theory I think it could be maybe better than them because Mega Sharpedo in its base form gets speed boost, so you could protect turn 1, get a speed boost, and then maybe use Mega Sharpedo as a rain abuser, as it does have the strong water dark offensive typing, good attack, and the decent water stab of liquidation. The problem is, though, that I think Basculegion completely destroys you as a water type attacker, has a better typing of Water Ghost, meaning it can't be faked out, and has the harder hitting Wave Crash. You may be able to outrun it, but you do need a turn of setup to outrun it, and you also have to be a damn Mega Evolution, maybe you can't Mega Evolve on other guys. I mean, you do get a strong draw boosted Crunch, which is a powerful move, you get Aqua Jet, you get Flip Turn as well for pivoting, but I don't think it's very good, unfortunately. Up next is Mega Beedrill, perhaps the most min-maxed of all the Megas. Mega Beedrill does have incredible offensive stats. 145 is very fast base speed, and 150 base attack is also excellent. But this is the frailest thing in the universe with 40 defense, for goodness sake. Very low HP, pretty low special defense. Just about any hit in the world will one-hit KO this. I'm putting it above these other Megas, though, at the lower end of the list because maybe with adaptability and poison stab, you're kinda good at KOing Floette and other fairy types like Primarina that are kinda common. U-turn is kinda good to get you out of the field, but this is gonna be a very difficult Mega to justify using, I think. I think this gets even more eaten alive by Incineroar because you get intimidated, faked out, and you take a lot from the fake out because you have no defense, and then a slight breeze kills you from there. If you can even manage to get a kill, which I don't even think you really can. You are very powerful, but I just think that your offensive stabs are very easy to resist as Mega Beedrill. Poison typing is sort of good in this meta, but Sneasler is right there. Sneasler literally destroys you as a fast poison type that has better moves like Fake Out and also has Unburden to be even faster, plus it is not a Mega, so it's not wasting your Mega slot. There's really no reason at all to run Mega Beedrill, in truth. A lot of people love this Mega, but it's kind of garbage here. It's better in singles, but even in singles, it's got its own set of problems, to be honest with you. Up next is Mega Banette, who is a little bit buffed in this format, because it now has Stab Poltergeist, which is very good. This is an actual good Ghost Stab option with high power, when previously Mega Banette only had, I think, Shadow Claw, which was very low power. Mega Banette also gains Prankster when it Mega Evolves, which is a good ability that allows it to do Priority Will-O-Wisp and Priority Destiny Bond, which can allow it to sacrifice itself to take someone else with it, and that can maybe allow you to trade up. There's some merit there. But at the end of the day, Mega Banette is such an awkward Pokemon in terms of its stats, man. So frail. And it's in that terrible cursed speed tier of base 75 as well. Not fast or slow enough to achieve much. Its attack is through the roof, but it is also limited in its attacking options, usually just relying on Ghost Stab to do much, which can be limiting. In its base form it has Frisk, and currently on Champions Ladder there is no open team sheets implemented, so it is kind of useful to see the enemy's item and get some info before Mega Evolving perhaps. That does have a little bit of value, but realistically, not a great Pokemon, of course. Might achieve more than previous Megas listed because of Prankster, Will-O-Wisp, and Destiny Bond, plus Shadow Sneak for at least some priority, and Poltergeist. It also can't be faked out, and it can't be trapped by Shadow Tag, which is sort of relevant right now, but let's be honest, not a great Pokemon at all. Up next is Mega Houndoom. Mega Houndoom is a special attacking Dark Fire type, with pretty decent speed of base 115, one of the faster Megas out there, and its special attack is 140, which is quite good. Its ability is Solar Power, which grants bonus damage in the sun at the cost of taking some chip damage. Your damage output is very impressive with this in the sun, but there's a real elephant in the room here, and that is the fact that Mega Charizard Y is a far more desirable Fire-type special attacking Mega that sets Sun itself, and is the primary Sun setter in the game right now. You could run perhaps Torkoal plus Mega Houndoom, but there's a bit of anti-synergy there because Torkoal tends to be excellent on Trick Room strategies because of its low speed and Sun setting plus Eruption, but Mega Houndoom doesn't really want Trick Room because it's fast, so they don't really fit together exactly. Maybe you could run it with Ninetales with Drought, but at that point, just run a damn Mega Charizard Y. You're over complicating things. Mega Houndoom maybe could possibly have some merit outside of Sun, just as a fast fire-type special attacker with Heat Wave, but then there's Mega Delphox, who is extremely similar to that and much more self-sufficient, even faster, and just generally way better. So I don't think Mega Houndoom is very good. It's outclassed by a lot of different things. Wasted the Mega slot. Kind of weak for a Mega 2 stat-wise. Difficult to build with right now, not really worth using, but it could have maybe some merit on a Sun team, perhaps. Stab, Spread, Heat Wave is very strong. Snarl is something to hit both opponents and lower their special attack and actually deal decent damage too. Other than that though, Mega Houndoom not very good in this context. Up next is Mega Pidgeot, who is a Mega I personally enjoy and I think is fun to use, but unfortunately I think it's pretty terrible right now in the current VGC doubles metagame. Mega Pidgeot has No Guard, which is a great ability that causes all of its attacks and attacks against it to be perfectly accurate. So there's a bit of a drawback to it since enemies can hit you perfectly, but you also get perfect accuracy on Stab Hurricane, which is very strong. So Hurricane is usually extremely inaccurate, but now it is not. Heat Wave being perfectly accurate, also quite relevant in doubles. The spread move fire type, and it has 90 accuracy, so it can miss. Just reducing that miss chance to 0 is very valuable. Mega Pidgeot also has Tailwind, which is great doubles utility to boost the speed of you and your ally by double for 4 turns. A staple move of VGC, and a strong one. Does this guy get Wide Guard? No, for some reason I thought it might get Wide Guard. So the last move's probably going to be Protect or U-turn here. The thing is, though, that Mega Pidgeot is just a weak Mega in terms of the stats. There are so many common things that are going to just straight up one-hit Mega Pidgeot, especially because of the No Guard, actually. The No Guard is actually pretty detrimental in this metagame, with a lot of Pokemon running Thunder on Rain teams, and they don't even have to have Rain up to hit Mega Pidgeot with a perfectly accurate Thunder, because they're offering perfect accuracy to the opponent too. Same with a Mega Frostlass Blizzard. Even if you've managed to reset the snow to a different weather, it's still going to hit Mega Pidgeot perfectly accurately, and that's a disaster because that will easily one-shot you. Yes, it's a pretty fast Mega with 121 speed, but there are faster Megas that threaten it in the current metagame, which is a problem. It's also difficult for this to really get a Tailwind off because of the lack of Focus Sash and the lack of bulk. So more often than not, you're actually just going to completely fail to get the Tailwind activated because you're not that bulky and you're not, prankster or anything. I guess you're fast, but you're prone to being faked out and such. It's kind of hard to get the Tailwind off, and it doesn't feel great to just click Tailwind and then die to something, because you click Tailwind, you're wide open to an attack. Something can just kill you, you're not that bulky. And there's your Mega. You don't have a damn Mega beyond Pidgeot after that. Not worth the Mega slot, a little bit too weak. And there are just better, similar Megas in the game right now that are much more consistent, unfortunately for Pidgeot. Plus, No Guard in the current metagame is a pretty terrible detriment, actually, in a few ways. Up next is Mega Ampharos. Might seem like kind of a high ranking for Mega Ampharos. Keep in mind, this is still the garbage tier of the list. Please keep that in mind. This is lower end Megas that I'm not really seeing, but I would put Mega Ampharos above some of the Megas I've talked about so far, purely because its bulk is pretty good. It's got 90 HP and decent defenses, its special attack is very high, and its speed is 45, which actually works in its favor because it could possibly be used on Trick Room. I would also give Mega Ampharos a bit of respect for matching up well against Mega Charizard Y, because it threatens it with a one-hit KO and also resists Fire and Grass, which are its 2 coverage options of choice. Mega Ampharos has Mold Breaker as an ability which ignores enemy abilities. Not really that useful in the current meta, actually. Could be useful maybe if there's a Lightning Rod user on the enemy field, and you could ignore that. Occasionally you do see Raichu for that, for Lightning Rod support, so ignoring that has its merit. Perhaps you can power through Sturdy, you can Dragon Pulse through Mega Dragonite's multi-scale as well. So there's a little bit of application for Mold Breaker, but you would probably prefer something a bit more useful than Mold Breaker. It's better than nothing, though. Mega Ampharos does have a very good special attack stat, though. Maybe I could possibly see some sort of Mega Ampharos team being viable. But it is a tough one. It's bad versus like all the common fairy types right now. It is slow. And yes, being slow can work on Trick Room, but I think there are better Trick Room abusers, better Megas to run on Trick Room teams than this. But at least Mega Ampharos has more going for it than the previous Megas, I suppose. Maybe there's like a Mega Ampharos Rain Trick Room thing that works well. Oh, that's also another thing, is that perhaps Rain synergy is good with Thunder, since Pelipper is very good right now. Up next is Mega Scovillain, and it's absolutely possible that I'm overrating Mega Scovillain here, absolutely. But I'm going to give Mega Scovillain a little bit of respect. This is one of the more disappointing Megas in many people's eyes, especially with its terrible stats, which are just not very good for a Mega. But they did give Mega Scovillain a really cool, unique ability that is actually kind of amazing. Mega Scovillain's new ability is Spicy Spray, and what this ability does is if you attack Mega Scovillain with anything, physical or special, contact or not, if you attack Mega Scovillain, you get burned. 100% of the time. It's like a flame body times a million. This ability is absolutely insane, and it could be overpowered on a different Pokemon. So everything else about the Pokemon is pure garbage, of course. Its stats are horrendous. It's not bulky. Its offensive stats are alright, but I mean, it's a Mega. We've seen better offensive stats, and it's very slow. But Spicy Spray, absolutely outstanding ability. And it does get Rage Powder, which forces you to attack it. So this is something. You can Mega Evolve Rage Powder, force things to attack you, and burn them. It is a huge commitment of your Mega slot. It is probably not worth it. And there are far better Megas in the game, but I think that maybe this could be something in the right scenario. Also, your typing is alright. Grass Fire, at least there's that. Great offensive typing with Stab on 2 of the best complementary types in the game. And you are not affected by Sleep Powder yourself or enemy powder moves. What do you get in the way of coverage? Maybe you just run like Leaf Storm, probably Protect, and then perhaps a physical fire move like Flare Blitz or Temper Flare. I don't know. Does this make any sense? Is this anything? I don't think so. I don't think that's anything, but I think the Rage Powder Spicy Spray combo could be something, folks. Probably not, but it's at least more interesting, and at least they gave this a unique ability. We thought this guy would be dead on arrival. At least it has one of the best abilities the game has ever seen. It's not enough to really save it, but it's certainly something worth thinking about. And I am at least happy that they did that. This ability is gonna go crazy in Hackmons, by the way, if it ever gets implemented. Hackmons will never be the same with this in the game. Up next is Mega Emboar, who got the very disappointing new ability of Mold Breaker. Kind of useless on Mega Emboar, by the way. The only real value you get out of this is perhaps breaking Sturdy or Multi-Scale. There's not even any viable Flash Fire guy in the metagame to power through with Flare Blitz. It's a pretty useless ability on Mega Emboar. I'm ranking this a little bit higher than some of the others purely because it's a bit bulkier. It has Close Combat, which threatens Incineroar. It's got a Rock Slide, which threatens Mega Charizard Y. Speaking of Mega Charizard Y, it also resists Fire and Grass, which can let it get that Rock Slide through, I guess. And it does have a massive attack stat of 148 with Flare Blitz, but it's unimpressive and not really very good at all. It's got an effectively useless ability that might help sometimes, but is quite disappointing. Some people thought this would get Supreme Overlord. That wouldn't even be that great either, but at least it would be more applicable than Mold Breaker, which doesn't do much of anything for you. He also gets Sucker Punch, I believe, which is at least some prio to hit like Mega Gungwei or Frostlass or somebody. Firefighting is a good type combo, at least not the frailest thing on the planet with a good base HP, but realistically there's no real merit to Mega Emboar. Up next is Mega Chimecho, and this is kind of a tragic one. I thought that Mega Chimecho had more potential, but unfortunately in practice it's not very good. It seems okay though. Mega Chimecho seems to have a lot going for it. Psychic Steel typing with Levitate is a very good defensive combination. Levitate erases the ground weakness completely. Chimecho has very solid bulk as well, with good defensive stats. It has a high special attack stat, and it has access to Trick Room. So that's all very promising. But Chimecho doesn't have much beyond that. And Chimecho is also almost cool with Expanding Force. There are actually some teams that manually set Psychic Terrain and use Expanding Force, but the problem is that he's levitating the guy, so he doesn't get the effect of Psychic Terrain. If you're levitating and you're flying above the ground, Psychic Terrain doesn't apply to you. So, tragically, Chimecho can't even take advantage of a Psychic Terrain Expanding Force thing, which might be good on it. Probably what you're going to do is Calm Mind with it, but you do feel like you have just too limited of a move pool for this. Dazzling Gleam is okay, but it's not even Stab, and you have standard Psychic type attacks. You really wish you had maybe like a Water move to hit Incineroar, Fighting move to hit Dark types and Steel types generally. Mega Chimecho just kind of lacks anything good. Maybe you could go Trick Room Healing Wish combo to set Trick Room and then sacrifice yourself, but then you're sacrificing your Mega. It's not really worth your Mega slot to do this. You'd almost rather just base Chimecho. It's not very good, but at least it wouldn't be wasting your Mega. It doesn't look good for Mega Chimecho. I'd put it above the other Megas mentioned so far just because of the excellent defensive qualities in Trick Room. It gets Icy Wind, I guess, but I mean, it's a Trick Room city. You don't really want Icy Wind in that context. Maybe you just say F Trick Room, but then why are you using the guy at all? If not for Trick Room, what are you using it for? Probably no Icy Wind or Thunder Wave. I'm just really struggling to find anything this guy does besides click Trick Room. It has Helping Hand, but so does everything in the world. It has Calm Mind and little to really get out of it. Just an unfortunate Pokemon. If they just gave it like 2 or 3 more tools, I think it could be good, but it's just lacking in very important things to function. Up next is Mega Abomasnow. And Mega Abomasnow is having a terrible time in this format because it's being outclassed in every direction. The new Mega Frostlass is an all-new and exciting snow setter Mega that is faster and more threatening and more useful in a lot of contexts. With Ninetales Alola in the game, it's also a little bit hard to justify even base Abomasnow as a snow setter. Plus, there's just not much snow synergy in the game. So Mega Abomasnow could have some merit as a anti-weather guy, because base Abomasnow sets snow, and then when you Mega Evolve, you set snow again to ensure snow is active. But there's not much incentive to ensure snow is active in this format when there's no real good snow abusers, besides like a Glaceon, who is not really making any waves right now, let's just say that. Perhaps Mega Abomasnow has a bit of merit though. I mean, setting snow is good. It's very bulky. It's got sort of a good defensive typing. It's got nice mixed attacking stats. It can actually kind of use them with access to Blizzard and Wood Hammer and such, Ice Shard. And with 30 speed, it could be a Trick Room guy. And maybe snow is a cool anti-enemy weather thing on a Trick Room team, perhaps. So Mega Abomasnow does maybe have merit there. I could possibly see a Mega Abomasnow team working in some scenarios, because all of that stuff is meritus. It's just really difficult for Mega Abomasnow to exist in this format. It truly is. He has so much stacked against him, especially so many common fire type attacks. The typing is so terrible. It truly is one of the worst typings in the game, which is not very fun at all. Incineroar's everywhere too. You just get flare blitzed, man. There's Charizard everywhere. Oh, it's terrible news for Mega Abomasnow. It truly is. But maybe, I could imagine maybe a Mega Abomasnow team working in a niche context, because of the reliable snow setting with double proc from the Mega, and having a bit more bulk than other snow setters, and being maybe a Trick Room threat. Up next is Mega Slowbro. Mega Slowbro can be used here as a body press gamer. It has a massive defense stat of base 180, it has access to Iron Defense to boost its defense further, and a Body Press to use that defense stat as an attacking stat. And this is a good combo. Mega Slowbro is reasonably functional at this. Shell Armor is kind of good just to make you completely immune to crits, and prevent the scenario of a crit powering through your defensive boosts. You also have Thunder Wave, which is okay utility. Slack Off for healing is pretty decent as well, and you do have access to Trick Room, which can support your team while also helping you a lot because you're slow, and you can be kind of a sweeper with the Iron Defense Body Press thing. So Trick Room, Iron Defense Body Press, maybe instead you go Thunder Wave to lower their speed, but actually I think probably this is the reason to use this for Iron Defense Body Press and Trick Room combo. The problem with this guy is that it is under fire from a lot of common special attacks right now. Mega Meganium is common on the ladder. It might be New Toy Syndrome, to be honest, and you do get it free on the Battle Pass. That could be the reason, but terrible matchup for Slowbro, who gets hit by the big Solar Beam. Charizard Y also has the big Solar Beam. Mega Dragonite runs Thunder, and Mega Dragonite is quite common. Mega Gengar with Shadow Ball. There's so many Dark types and Ghost types, and Rotom Wash is an Electric type that's common as well. It does stink to just be vulnerable to all of these common special attacks that kind of ruins your whole plan. In the right scenario, though, Mega Slowbro can go crazy. It's nice to have Trick Room and this Body Press combo, but I think that it's just under fire from too much to really be worth using, and there's other Iron Defense Body Press Megas and Pokemon that I think are just better than it. But it's more meritorious than the previously mentioned Megas, because it actually has this going for it, which is better than nothing. Up next is Mega Chandelure. Some of you might actually find this pretty low for Mega Chandelure, who seems promising. It's a Ghost Fire type with a ridiculous 175 base special attack, 90 base speed as well, and pretty good defenses too. Seems promising. Its ability is Infiltrator, which is better than nothing. It powers through Substitute, which is occasionally relevant in doubles, and it also hits through Reflect Light Screen at Aurora Veil. The thing about Mega Chandelure though, I think that the base 90 speed is a terrible speed benchmark to have. And Mega Chandelure is so commonly going to be outrun by things and just hit for lethal damage. Even with the okay defenses, its HP is still low, and the weaknesses will really catch up to it. I mean, Mega Gengar is common and just outruns and one-shots it. Garchomp is common, outruns and one-shots it. A lot of base 100 Megas are just going to outrun it and threaten it directly. It's an awkward speed tier. Infiltrator is, I mean, I didn't just say it's sometimes useful. It's not that amazing as an ability in doubles. Substitute is occasionally seen. It's not quite as common as it is in singles. Powering through Aurora Veil is useful, but I think you're going to KO Frostlass anyway. And if Frostlass is on the field, you've got bigger problems because it's threatening to kill you with a Shadow Ball and outrun you. Frostlass is the most common Aurora Veil setter right now. As promising as this looks in a vacuum, I think in the metagame, it's really struggling. I have scarcely seen it, and when I have, I deal with it very easily. The few times I've faced this, I have not found it that threatening. It does have a very frightening amount of special attack, but so many things deal with this very easily. I think this guy is outclassed by other Ghost-type Megas and other Fire-type Megas. It's just awkward and not really worth using. Up next is Mega Hawlucha, who has the ability No Guard, which causes all moves used by you and used against you to be perfectly accurate. Mega Hawlucha itself can't really take much advantage of this though. It doesn't get Dynamic Punch. It gets High Jump Kick, which is slightly buffed, but not by very much. Stone Edge also. But the real benefit of this is that we have access to entrainment on Mega Hawlucha. So you can give No Guard to your ally and make all of their moves perfectly accurate. And this can be used with a very interesting combo. You can give Excadrill entrainment, No Guard, and with No Guard it can hit a perfectly accurate Horn Drill, which is a guaranteed one-hit KO. Now this is an extreme gimmick, of course, and if you see a Mega Hawlucha, it's incredibly telegraphed what they're about to do. But it's still something, it's something to build around, and maybe there's other merit to giving a guy No Guard that we're not aware of. There's other moves that can benefit from perfect accuracy, not just one-hit KO move. There could be further optimization to be had with this particular strategy. We'll have to see. It's a bit of a gimmick, but it's an interesting one. Up next is Mega Gallade, who is a bit of an awkward Mega because when it Mega Evolves, it loses a good ability. Base Gallade in Gen 9 received Sharpness, which worked really well with it. Sharpness increases the power of slicing moves by 1.5x. And Gallade has some good slicing moves like Psycho Cut and Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword in particular is kind of good in this metagame because it can power through Iron Defense users and it can power through Archaludon if it's received stamina boosts. Plus it just has high power with Sharpness itself. But Mega Gallade, when it Mega Evolves, gets Inner Focus, which is also a good ability actually. Inner Focus grants an immunity to Intimidate attack drops and an immunity to being flinched, so Mega Gallade cannot be hit by Fake Out and flinched with that, or Rock Slide. So that's good because you can Mega Evolve and then threaten Incineroar without worrying about being flinched by it. It would have been nice though if they changed Mega Gallade's ability to Sharpness. I think if they did that, it would be a better Pokemon. It's also awkward because in your base form, on the first turn of the battle, if Incineroar is sent out or any other Intimidate Pokemon, you just get intimidated, and then when you Mega Evolve, you still have the -1 attack. So the immunity to Intimidate doesn't really help you that much when on the first turn you can just still get intimidated before you Mega Evolve. It's much better to have it in your base form than to Mega Evolve and gain Intimidate immunity. But still, Mega Gallade does have some merit. It's very fast. 110 speed, outruns a lot of common Megas. It threatens Incineroar, can't be faked out. It also has Wide Guard. It's one of the only Pokemon in the game with Wide Guard right now, which is a pretty scarce option that not a lot of ubiquitous Pokemon get. So it's always nice when something gets this. This is a doubles focus move that protects you from spread moves, like Rock Slide and Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is probably the big one because you're going to be really under fire from Floette, or perhaps Hyper Voice from Sylveon or Gardevoir. And I do believe you also get Rock Slide. And being a fast physical attacker with Rock Slide that outruns Charizard Y is good in this metagame too. So maybe Mega Gallade is a bit underexplored. It could be something, but it's a slightly difficult Mega to justify using. It does feel like Sneasler outclasses it, but it's undeniable that Inner Focus and Wide Guard are pretty good. And you do have a massive attack stat of 165 too. Maybe there's more to Mega Gallade than we think. Probably not though. The last bit of merit that Mega Gallade has to it is that it's a pretty bulky, fast physical attacker. It actually has a really good special defense stat of 115 and a high defense stat of 95. So that's cool. I'm not super confident in Mega Gallade, but there is some stuff going on here that could be worth exploring, perhaps. Up next is Mega Skarmory, who has really reinvented itself in its new Mega form. Mega Skarmory has become an offensive Pokemon now, with a high attack stat and a high speed of 110. Mega Skarmory's new ability in Pokemon Champions is Stalwart. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. It's not a word I'm familiar with. What does that mean? Stalwart. Stalwart? Let's Google it. Oxford Dictionary says that it means loyal, reliable, and hardworking. Well, with the amount of layers you've made for me in Gen 3 OU Skarmory, I would personally agree with that. Plus you're immune to sand, plus you're immune to toxic, plus you're immune to Dugtrio, Arena Trap, and Earthquake, and spikes. So I would call you Stalwart. I would call you loyal, reliable, and hardworking. Oxford was right about that one. If they got one thing right, that's it. But some people are disappointed with this ability choice, because what this does in competitive is it makes you immune to the effects of redirection. So, Follow Me, Rage Powder, these moves that force a Pokemon to be attacked, will have no effect on a Stalwart user. But in doubles, this is actually kind of good, isn't it? Stalwart is actually kind of an asset. Mega Skarmory has Swords Dance, Stab Iron Head, and this is perhaps a Mega that is a counter to Mega Floette, because Mega Floette at the moment is currently used alongside Redirection very commonly. You have Mousehold, who is a common teammate, with Follow Me, to attract hits to the Mousehold so that Mega Floette can calm mind up and shoot off Dazzling Gleams. You also have Vivillon with Rage Powder, you have Sinistchar with Rage Powder as well. But Skarmory here can just Iron Head the Mega Floette without having to worry about that misdirection. In general, you don't have to worry about the misdirection, of course. In any context. Mega Floette is the most common context, but in any context, you're not worried about it. You have Swords Dance, which boosts your attack. And what's cool about Skarmory is that in its base form, it has weak armor, which means that if it gets hit by a physical attack, it has its defenses lowered, but its speed raised by 2. So Skarmory can stay in its base form, Swords Dance, and its base form has a higher defense stat, meaning it can tank hits better. So you set up in its base form, take a hit, get a speed boost, then Mega Evolve, activate the Stalwart, and you go crazy if the opponent happens to have Mega Floette, or they're trying to redirect you in general. You also get Rock Slide as a spread move, and you do outrun Mega Charizard Y. Even without a weak armor boost, you outrun Mega Charizard Y, which is nice. And you have Brave Bird, of course, for massive flying stab. I think Mega Skarmory might be a bit underexplored. There could be something here. It's got a good defensive typing of Steel Flying. It works well with Garchomp, because you can Earthquake safely when this is next to you. It matches up, I'm sure, very well against Floette. Floette is usually only using fairy moves. And the same would apply to other fairy types like Sylveon and Gardevoir. I haven't seen much Mega Skarmory. And when I have seen it, it hasn't done very well, but I think there could be more optimization to be had with Mega Skarmory, and it might be a little underrated. Maybe I'm even underrating it on this list. At the moment, we just haven't seen it used in too much success in tournaments or ladder. But I think that there could be potential. Maybe. It is kind of weak, though, on the attack side for a Mega, I suppose. There are stronger ones, but all of its other cool traits might give it some value anyway. Also, it gets Tailwind, which is cool alongside an ally. Corviknight is probably a better Steel-Flying Tailwind setter, but Skarmory Mega does outdo Corviknight in the offensive department, plus with Stalwart, there's the merit to that too. Maybe you skip on Tailwind for this, maybe it doesn't actually quite work as a Tailwind user, but it's a cool option to have nonetheless. Up next is Mega Feraligatr. Another guy that you see actually pretty commonly, more so maybe than it deserves. New Toy Syndrome, I think. This is a popular new Mega. It's not completely terrible, I will give it credit. It is a Water Dragon type, which is a good defensive typing, with only 2 weaknesses to Fairy and Dragon. So it's got to get that going for it. It's also pretty bulky. It has a high defense set of 125, which does a lot of heavy lifting. It's kind of important to have a bit of bulk and not die in a single hit to things. It also hits like a damn truck. Mega Feraligator's new ability is Dragonize, which is like Aerolate, Galvanize, etc. But if a dragon moves, normal type moves become dragon and gain a power boost. So Mega Feraligator has this insanely hard hitting double edge, which off the back of 160 base attack is probably one of the strongest physical hits you can do right now in the metagame. It's an insane nuke. So this could be used maybe on rain teams for your high attack, good typing, and access to Aqua Jet and Liquidation boosted by rain, plus the insane double edge and Dragon Dance as well. If you can set that up, Mega Feraligator is certainly a cut above like Mega Sharpedo, and with Pelipper being so good right now, you can justify this. I think that there are just Mega slots that are probably going to be more useful for you on a rain team, and as far as water type breakers go, there is Basculegion. There is Basculegion who does not require a Mega slot, and is really popular right now and very good. You're probably better off just running Basculegion and a different Mega that's more useful to you. There is also Palafin, who is kind of similar to this. Requires a bit more setup, of course, but I actually would prefer running Palafin and a different Mega on a rain team as well. The fact that you don't have to spend your Mega is a worthy sacrifice for the downsides of the Palafin. And we have seen some Palafin usage on Pelipper Rain. This Mega is not the worst thing in the world, though. It's a bit slow, it's a bit hard to set up Dragon Dance, but it does get a lot out of its defensive typing, and the sheer power of the double edge is kind of crazy. I think Mega Feraligator will be much more successful in singles than doubles, I will say. So it feels like more of a singles Pokemon. Up next is Mega Greninja. Mega Greninja is kind of just normal Greninja with higher stats. It has the same ability, Protean, which changes its type once per switch in to the type of the move it just used. Kind of nice to get Stab on one move, but this is nerfed since Gen 9. It doesn't change your type every single time you click a move anymore. And I think what stinks about this in doubles is often on turn 1 you want to protect, but then if you protect with Protean, you change your type to normal, and you kind of waste your Protean for that session, because now you have no Stab on your moves and you're a crappy normal type. That does stink. That's a part of Protean that stinks here. And Mega Greninja, much like regular Greninja, I think is much more of a singles Pokemon. The frailty is an issue here, and in singles the ability to pivot out repeatedly and one-shot whatever in front of you with coverage is also very useful, whereas in doubles you can't really rely on that as much, and a single hit from something powerful will probably drop you. I mean, even Protean Greninja is struggling in Gen 9, to be honest. But Mega Greninja might have some merit here, purely because of the excellent move pool of Greninja. Its speed being so incredible is a real benefit, and the fact that it has nice mixed attacking stats means maybe you could run something like this, just off the top of the dome, I don't know. Extra Sensory is in its moveset, that's psychic coverage to hit Sneasler with, and you outrun Sneasler before Unburden, so that could be something. Hydro Pump, of course, one-shots Incineroar, and maybe Gunk Shot as poison physical coverage. You have a great base attack, and this would hit Floette, even if it's calm-minded up, it would hit Gardevoir. It would even hit Whimsicott, Mega Meganium. I think the Cup is neutral to it, unfortunately. Sinistcha, I think the Cup would be neutral. But you could maybe still do it on the Cup anyway. You gain poison typing when you click it, meaning you now resist the incoming Matcha Gotcha. Mega Greninja might have some niche value because of its high speed and all of this coverage that could be geared towards the current meta. It also gets Rock Slide, and it's a damn fast Rock Slide user that gains Stab on it, can hit Charizard Y with that. Maybe you don't even bother with Protect because it's so bad on a Pokemon Protean, and you just say, whatever, if they get me turn 1, they get me. I'm going all in on attacks. Just an idea, Mega Greninja could be worth exploring purely for this. Probably a little bit difficult to justify though. The Mega Slot is a precious resource. Base Greninja can also do all of this and maybe run a more useful item like a Sash to allow it to be a bit more sturdy. Or a Type Berry to let it live a common hit that it wants to take. Up next is Mega Camel. Mega Camel has a Fire Ground typing and the ability Sheer Force, an excellent offensive ability that boosts the power of moves with secondary effects while erasing the secondary effect itself. And Mega Camel, I think, is a possibly usable Trick Room abuser. It has a very low base speed of 20, so it is cleanly outrunning just about everything in the Trick Room. Outslowing, I should say, but in the Trick Room you want to be slow. And it gets some good moves. It gets Heat Wave, which is a spread move boosted by Sheer Force off the back of 145 special attack, perhaps even in the sun with Torkoal. And you do work well alongside Torkoal, because you both are Trick Room abusers. You also get Earth Power, which is actually really nice. Archaludon is kind of popular, and it's a hard guy to hit because it's only weak to ground and fighting, which tend to be physical types. So having a ground type special attack is pretty huge. Also, Incineroar intimidates guys, so it weakens those ground type attacks much of the time. But Earth Power just hits Incineroar for massive damage. You hit Sneasel for massive damage. Just a great stab combo, boosted by Sheer Force. Pretty powerful in the Trick Room. You get Solar Beam, which can work alongside Torkoal in the sun. You get Eruption if you happen to have full health. That's ridiculous damage. Although it's not boosted by Sheer Force, still incredible high power damage though. Much like many other fire type special attacking megas, it is competing with Delphox and Charizard Y, who are similar but don't need Trick Room to function. Mega Camerupt though does at least stand out being so slow and being an ideal Trick Room abuser. It's fairly bulky too, with pretty good mixed bulk. It even has an attack stat, so you could run some mixed options on it too. I think Mega Camel is actually alright. It's just that if you fail to get Trick Room up, it is horrible. It needs Trick Room desperately. It's not always great to have a Pokemon that is completely terrible without Trick Room. If Trick Room is not up, this is slower than the whole world and has the most exploitable typing ever. And that's another thing, it might get a few big hits off, but the Fire Ground typing might actually be a huge detriment for this, because even if Trick Room is active, a lot of things can survive a hit and just counterattack Mega Camerupt for a lethal KO. It may have pretty good bulk, but not enough to survive plenty of common hits. Any water type attack, a Garchomp Earthquake. A lot of stuff also gets Aqua Jet, which is a problem. Ideally you have Torkoal as an ally, but sometimes that won't line up, or they'll reset the weather. Basculegion has Aqua Jet, Puffin has Jet Punch, Azumarill has Aqua Jet. This can be a problem for you. So Mega Camerupt is really under fire from that. Pretty good Trick Room Mega though. I could certainly see a Mega Camerupt team having success. Trick Room is a good archetype. There's a lot supporting it. Giraffe is in the game. Oranguru is in the game. The Mega Camerupt team could absolutely work, I think. Up next is Mega Meowstic, who I am probably ranking far higher than most of you expected. And don't get me wrong, Mega Meowstic is not amazing, but I would give it a bit of respect for one very interesting thing. Mega Meowstic would seem to be completely inferior to Mega Alakazam, because it is also a mono-type psychic special attacker with the ability Trace. They did give it Trace as an ability, which many are disappointed with, because there is already a similar Pokemon with Trace. Trace on switch in will copy a random ability from one of the opponents. Can be good, but kind of disappointing, since it's the same as Mega Alakazam. But Meowstic does have a bit of merit over Mega Alakazam. In its base form, Meowstic has Prankster. And with Prankster, it can set Psychic Terrain on the field with priority. And after doing that, it can then utilize the move Expanding Force to hit both opponents boosted by Psychic Terrain. Meowstic can also be a Flex Mega, meaning you don't have to use it to Mega Evolve every game, and you can run another Mega Evolution on your team. Sometimes Meowstic will just be used for its Prankster support with Psychic Terrain, and a different Mega will go off. But it can sometimes Mega when it needs the stat boost and the power boost to be a win condition with Expanding Force. Also, Meowstic has Fake Out, which Alakazam does not have. So that's another benefit that Meowstic has over Alakazam. I think that probably just base Meowstic is a better Psychic Terrain support. It also has Psychic Terrain Fake Out and Weather Setting and other such things. You can put an item on it like a Focus Sash so that it lives. Meowstic is a solid support Pokemon, so it's a bit of a waste to use your Mega Stone on this. But at the same time, Meowstic still sort of functions even without an item. So you can run this as a Flex Mega, and it's semi-interesting as a Psychic Terrain abuser. There's not really any good Psychic Terrain setters in the game right now, nothing like in DD or Tapu Lele. So this is kind of the best you've got, is the manual Psychic Terrain, which can still be good actually, surprisingly. I've seen people use this on ranked, and it's better than you would expect, especially because there's not much enemy terrain to stop it. In other metas, there's other Tapus running around or Rillaboom to cancel Psychic Terrain, but in this metagame, if you actually manage to set Psychic Terrain, it's probably going to stay up, and you're probably going to go crazy with Expanding Force. I think Mega Meowstic might have some potential because of this, but I could be completely overrating it, and it's just pure garbage. I think this is actually alright. Up next is Mega Scizor, who is much more known for competitive singles, but I think in doubles it still has some stuff. Mega Scizor has outstanding typing and stats, which helps significantly. Bullet Punch and Steel typing are pretty good in the metagame where Floette is so powerful. And Mega Scizor does have some doubles stuff. Bug Bite is actually kind of good in a metagame full of berries. You can eat citrus berries, erase people's type berries and such. Mega Scizor gets Tailwind for support. You get Quick Guard also to shield yourself and your ally from priority attacks, which can block an enemy from being faked out. Dual Wing Beat is kind of cool with Technician. Each hit is boosted in power by Technician, which boosts the power of moves 60 or less. And the double hit can power through Focus Sashes. Pretty good against Sneasler, pretty good against Whimsicott, etc. I think the worst thing about Mega Scizor is just the fact that you can run base Scizor and it's pretty similar without taking your Mega slot. The only real benefit to Mega is that it has more stats. But base Scizor can run like Ochre Berry or Citrus Berry, and those might be even more relevant than the extra stats from Mega. But, you know, it's a Pokemon with incredible stats, decent move pool, and only a single type weakness. Pretty underexplored. I don't think I've ever seen one. Maybe there's more to it than people think. Up next is Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix is known for its absurd defense stat of base 230, and it does have Body Press, so that is somewhere to start. It can be a good Iron Defense Body Press Pokemon. It has the incredible bulk for it. It also has Heavy Slam, and it's extraordinarily heavy, so this will hit incredibly hard. Pretty nice versus Floette. Mega Steelix also has Wide Guard, a scarce option and a very good one that protects you from multi-hit moves, and this has the incredible benefit of blocking Heat Wave from Charizard Y, which could save you and your ally. That's pretty damn valuable. Mega Steelix also enjoys the fact that in its base form it has Sturdy, so sometimes it can stay in the base form to survive a hit from full, get a Body Press or Heavy Slam through perhaps, and survive an extra turn. There's merit to staying in the base form sometimes. Mega Steelix also a pretty damn good Trick Room Pokemon with an extraordinarily low speed of 30, so it works very well there. I think Mega Steelix has potential. I don't think I've seen it, but this is cool. The one thing I would worry about is the Steel Ground typing, which could leave it vulnerable to Water type attacks. With a poor matchup against Rain teams, it kind of does nothing versus Pelipper, that's a problem. And Pokemon like Rotom Wash and Primarina would also give you some real trouble, because your special defense is not the best and you are weak to water. But I think in theory the guy has potential, especially because of Wide Guard. I think that's the big one. Blocking Heat Wave could actually catch people off guard too. A lot of people probably won't see that coming and could lose them the game. They get Wide Guarded. Up next is Mega Lucario. One of the strongest Megas in singles, and a more middling one in doubles. It can still certainly do things. It's very fast. 112 speed is very good. For such a hard-hitting Pokemon, it has a great attack and special attack stat, and the ability Adaptability for bonus stab damage times 2 damage on attacks of the same type rather than just the usual 1.5x. And Lucario has a great move pool, physical and special attacks to take advantage of. Close combat, of course, will, I believe, still one-hit Incineroar even through Intimidate. Extreme speed is always good for a hard-hitting prior option. Rock Slide for a spread move and excellent coverage. Special attacks include Vacuum Wave for priority fighting damage. Focus Blast if you want to be a bit risky, probably not worth it. Aura Sphere is the more reliable option. And there's Flash Cannon as well. Meteor Mash is also pretty good in current metagame against all the fairy types running around. And also because it's a hard-hitting stab move. The problem with a Pokemon like this though in doubles is that it's frail. There are more frail Megas, but Mega Lucario is not surviving the majority of fire or fighting or ground type attacks, and these are common types. Even a big neutral fairy type attack or water type attack will probably drop Mega Lucario much of the time. And in singles, if you one-hit KO the enemy, that doesn't matter, but in doubles, the enemy could protect and their ally could hit you. You one-hit KO one guy and the other guy gets you. So you're always just under so much more fire, and if you're a fast, frail attacker like this, you probably want a Focus Sash to help you live longer and get one crucial extra turn, or some other thing like a Type Berry. Without that, it's tough, and you can't have that because you need the Mega Stone, plus there's opportunity cost associated with using this as your Mega when much of the time it's going to perish. I think Mega Lucario has enough going for it that it could work on the right team, but the frailty is just going to be a serious detriment for it. Up next is Mega Starmie, and all the speculation was correct because its ability was in fact huge power for double attack. Everybody was right. Credit to them for noticing the clues. I think Mega Starmie is alright. It has a good speed stat of 120, so it outruns most enemy Megas. But it's not the frailest thing in the world either, with 105 in each defensive stat. And with Pelipper being very solid right now in the metagame, Rain teams being strong, I think Mega Starmie is fairly viable as a water-type physical attacker under Rain. The hard-hitting Liquidation off the back of huge power to double its attack, Aqua Jet for priority, Flip Tone for pivoting. I will say it is a little bit limited in its offensive output, but if you're gonna have mostly attacks of one type, Water is a good one, especially when Rain is there to help you. You can kind of just spam water types and do alright for yourself, and Zen Headbutt certainly helps against the things resistant to water. I think that Mega Starmie is probably a better choice than Mega Feraligatr, purely because of the speed, but Mega Starmie, like all of these other water-type Megas, is competing with Basculegion, who is a non-Mega, but can afford to run a Choice Scarf, spam water moves under the rain with adaptability, or Swift Swim, probably adaptability, and operate similarly. Basculegion also has a very good damage output. Its typing is a bit better. Last Respect is a better alternate stab option than Zen Headbutt, I would say, and it also leaves a Mega slot free for something else. So on most teams, it's probably going to be better to just run Basculegion and some other Mega. The advantage to Mega Starmie is that it's fast. Without needing a Choice Scarf, it can switch moves more freely, which allows it to Flip Turn or Aqua Jet when the situation arises. Up next is Mega Altaria, who I actually think has a bit of potential. It's an interesting Pokemon. Mega Altaria is a Dragon Fairy type Mega with the ability Pixelate, which is a really strong ability that turns normal type attacks into fairy type attacks and grants them a power boost. Now Mega Altaria is competing with some other fairy type Megas that I will talk about later, but it has some merit over them, and maybe it's a bit underexplored actually. The Dragon Fairy typing is distinct, and Dragon brings with it some pretty useful resistances, especially to fire and water. Altaria Mega is also a Fairy type Mega with access to Tailwind, which is very useful, and it has Will-O-Wisp as well for some further utility. Plus the incredible Spread Hyper Voice, boosted by Pixelate, is a classic option. Fairy is an incredible type for a spread move, such a generically good offensive type. It's also useful in your base form to have the ability Cloud 9, which disables weather effects. In a metagame full of weather, all kinds of weather, literally all of them, sun, rain, sand, and snow are used. It is nice to have an anti-weather ability like that. I think that this sounds really good in theory, and you could absolutely make Mega Altaria work because of this. The thing about it though is that it's a bit weak stat-wise compared to the other fairy Megas. It's alright, it has well-rounded stats, but the special attack only being 110 is a bit weaker than some other similar Megas. Mega Altaria could also run a physical set. You do get a fairy type of body slam, which is significantly boosted with a 30% parry chance on it. I think Hyper Voice is probably the best option, but your attacking and special attacking stats are equal, so that's something to consider. Some other options include Helping Hand for utility. Breaking Swipe, which is a Dragon Stab option that hits both opponents and lowers their attack, could be useful. Do you get Icy Wind? No. Unfortunately, no Icy Wind. Talking about Mega Altaria here actually makes me want to try it. It has some really cool options, and I love its typing. Dragon Fairy is such a good typing. I think it has potential. Up next is Mega Excadrill, a new Mega with an interesting ability called Piercing Drill. This ability will cause contact moves used by the Pokemon to hit through protection, but they won't deal full damage through protection. They will deal 25% of the damage they were going to deal through moves like Protect and Detect. This ability is pretty good, even though you're not dealing full damage. Dealing 25% of original damage through Protect can chip something that's low and trying to save itself with the Protect, or just deal some damage when you otherwise would have done none. Excadrill has pretty good stats too for a Mega. 165 attack is excellent. It actually has a good HP stat, and a decent defense too. And its 103 base speed is appreciated, outrunning many standard Megas with a base 100 speed. The unfortunate part about this is that Rock Slide is not a contact move, meaning it will not benefit from Piercing Drill. It would be really nice to be able to hit Rock Slide through Protect. I think Mega Excadrill is kind of good. The issue with it is that it's sort of at odds with its own base form, because base form Excadrill is known for having the ability Sand Rush, which is extremely good and doubles its speed in the Sandstorm. And when you Mega Evolve, you lose this ability. Mega Excadrill can be used outside of Sandstorm teams for its Piercing Drill ability, but we can't help but feel that Excadrill Mega is extremely similar to just a base form Garchomp. Base form Garchomp has a similar speed tier, just above 100. Its damage output isn't quite good, but its bulk is incredibly good. Its defensive typing is arguably better, and it can hold an item, meaning it has the safety net of a Focus Sash or a Yachi Berry or something. And Rough Skin as an ability is useful in its own right. The fact that base Garchomp is right there makes Excadrill Mega feel a bit awkward, and Excadrill Mega is commonly one-hit by a lot of stuff. It doesn't have quite enough bulk to survive a big Flare Blitz from an Incineroar, or any old Water-type attack, close combat, stuff like that, whereas Garchomp actually does survive a lot of common hits. It has more relevant resistances. I tried out Mega Excadrill a bit myself, and I just found it a bit awkward, bit of a waste of the Mega slot, and vulnerable to a lot of common stuff in current metagame. But maybe on the right team, this guy could do well. Up next is Mega Charizard X. Mega Charizard X, of course, is paling in comparison to the other Mega Charizard, which we will talk about later, but this is the only Mega capable of performing a bluff right now, which is cool, because if they see Charizard in the team preview, they are going to assume Mega Y, and you can catch them completely off guard by actually being Mega X, who has a different typing and is defeated by different things. Maybe they use an electric move on you, but you resist electric when you would have been weak to it as Zard Y. Mega Charizard X is of course a Fire Dragon type physical attacker with Tough Claws, which just boosts all physical attacks. In singles, this Pokemon is a superstar, an incredibly powerful Dragon Dance sweeper. In doubles though, not so much. The typing is very good. You have Dragon Dance still. You could maybe be a Dragon Dance sweeper, and it's probably a bit unexpected that you're going to be Zard X, which could give you the leeway to Dragon Dance up. I think this guy is hard carried by the surprise value, and in an open team sheet format where they can just see that you have Charizard I to X, this would not really be the case. But every single time you face this, you're going to be surprised, because Zard Y is the much more common choice, and I've faced it a couple times and I am surprised by it every time. And it does kind of become the perfect alternate typing to give itself a free turn, because they're not going to Earthquake into you, they think you're immune. They might use a Water type move against you, but you gain Dragon typing, making yourself neutral. They might use an Electric move and you now resist. So it is kind of the perfect trick. It's the perfect trick. But if that one turn of surprise value goes poorly for you, then the rest of the game can go poorly for you. Maybe they just hit you with a generic neutral attack that deals just as much damage to Zard X as Zard Y, and then you're in big trouble. It's an interesting idea though. Up next is Mega Manectric. I thought that this Pokemon would be much better, because I recall Mega Manectric actually being quite a solid Mega in the previous VGC metagames. But I believe that was before Incineroar existed, and Incineroar has kind of taken Mega Manectric's job in a major way, as it has with most Intimidate Pokemon. There's some potential here though. Yes, it's a bit frail, but at least it's very fast with 135 base speed. It actually outruns Sneasler, which is an important speed benchmark. And what's nice about Manectric is that you can kind of pick and choose when you want to activate Intimidate. In some lead matchups, you don't want to Intimidate because you might activate Defiant or Competitive. Manectric has a pretty good base form ability of Lightning Rod, which could actually help an ally out if they're vulnerable to electric moves sometimes. Not that relevant actually, but it might come up. And you can also Volt Switch out. This is the big selling point of Mega Manectric, I think, because otherwise its frailty would be a big problem. But because you can attack and then switch out, Mega Manectric has a way to save itself from harm and then switch back in and get further value out of its Intimidate. I haven't seen much Mega Manectric, and Mega Manectric's sentiment is pretty low right now. People don't think this is a very good one, but maybe it has some potential. The speed tier in particular is very good. Outrunning Sneasler is huge, especially because you can Volt Switch against it and get some serious chip on it. I was actually maybe considering running Psychic Fangs purely to hit Sneasler, but unfortunately you need a pretty hefty amount of attack investment for that to one-hit, probably not really worth it. Base form Aerodactyl has also been on the rise, and you do outrun that and threaten it with electric type damage, which is pretty huge. Plus, Electric Stab is really nice for Zard Y. You actually outrun and threaten Mega Frostlass as well with Overheat, which is pretty cool. So there is some merit to this guy, to be honest. Maybe it's another unexplored one, because Intimidate is huge, the speed tier is huge, and it can make up for its frailty with the ability to pivot out. Maybe there's more to Mega Manectric than we think. I might give this guy a go. Maybe there's something here. Up next is Mega Alakazam. And throughout this whole video I've spoken about how frailty is a big problem in doubles, and Mega Alakazam is about as frail as you can get as a Mega, with 55 HP and 65 defense, but its offensive stats are so extremely good that it can perhaps make up for this in the right context, because Mega Alakazam has a ludicrous 150 base speed, and 175 base special attack, more powerful than most legendaries. I actually think Mega Alakazam is a bit underrated right now as a Psychic Terrain abuser. I spoke earlier about Meowstic. I actually think Meowstic in its base form, non-Mega Meowstic, is an incredible partner for Mega Alakazam, because it can set Psychic Terrain and allow Mega Alakazam here to spam Expanding Force like crazy, which deals ludicrous damage at an incredible speed to both opponents, and shields Mega Alakazam from Sucker Punch and Shadow Snake, which would otherwise threaten it lethally, and Aqua Jet, Extreme Speed, etc. Those would also probably kill Alakazam, so the anti-priority mechanic is also very much appreciated. Mega Alakazam's biggest issue, though, is probably that it has to land a Focus Blast to deal with a lot of its defensive checks, especially Dark types. Dark types are immune to Expanding Force, and although you do get Dazzling Gleam as fairy coverage to hit them, Incineroar is the most common Dark type in the game, and Incineroar is neutral to fairy. So you're probably going to want Focus Blast to hit Incineroar specifically. 70% accuracy is extremely terrible, and if you miss an attack with this guy, you're probably going to die the next turn, because something's going to hit you for lethal damage. Mega Alakazam is the fastest non-scarfed thing in the format, besides Mega Aerodactyl, which is probably not the most common Mega. So if you're going to be frail, if you're going to be as frail as this guy, at least be the fastest thing imaginable and hit like a Gen 1 Mewtwo or something with the hardest hitting Expanding Force possible. That can actually make up for it. It's an extreme strategy, but if it gets going and if you have the right support for this guy, it can be incredible. Up next, Mega Blastoise. Mega Blastoise got a pretty enormous buff in Pokemon Champions with the new option of Shell Smash, which it received in its base form in Gen 9. This is one of the strongest boosts in the game. It raises attack, special attack, and speed by 2 stages at the cost of -1 to defense and special defense. What you can do with Blastoise Mega is put it alongside a redirector like a Mouse Hold or a Sinistchar. Use that as an opportunity to click Shell Smash freely, and then click Water Spout, which is a spread move that hits both opponents and deals more damage the more HP you have. Water is a very spammable type, so this combo has some serious potential to just absolutely eat teams alive, especially because there's a lack of Wide Guard users in this format to stop this. Blastoise has a good special attacking move pool too, with like Aura Sphere, which gets boosted by Mega Launcher, Water Pulse, if you want single target hit that's also boosted by Mega Launcher, which boosts pulse moves, Ice Beam of course, to hit grass types, that's probably an important one. I have not tried this myself, and I have not seen it much. I think I faced one opponent with Mega Blastoise, but I think it seems pretty good. The guy is bulky. It's not that hard to set up a Shell Smash. There are good redirectors in the format to give you the safety net of the Shell Smash. Sinistchar can actually heal you back up for more Water Spout damage, which is kind of fun. Plus it's a redirector that synergizes with you to begin with. So yeah, I think this could be quite good. Especially because Rain teams are pretty good right now, and Rain would make this even stronger. Up next is Mega Venusaur, who I thought seemed like a Pokemon that just wouldn't work in doubles at all, and don't get me wrong, it's not amazing or anything, but I feel like Mega Venusaur is weirdly better than you would expect in this metagame. I think that's due to its good typing and ability Thick Fat. Mega Venusaur is a Grass Poison type, with this ability that grants an effective resistance to fire and ice by halving their damage. Mega Venusaur can actually take a fire hit from Incineroar, which is nice, It matches up well against Sneasler, neutral to its poison stab and resistant to its fighting stab. And it matches up well against Floette, completely shrugging off its fairy damage and threatening it directly with Sludge Bomb. What's nice about Venusaur Mega as well is that it ignores powder moves, meaning Rage Powder will not redirect it, and any Rage Powder user paired with Floette will not be able to save Floette from the incoming big Sludge Bomb. Sleep is also pretty hard to come by in this format, so it's nice to have a guy with Sleep Powder. Even though Sleep is nerfed in Pokemon Champions, lasting 1 to 2 turns now, it's still very strong, and that temporary inactivity is plenty of time to really achieve some serious momentum. Leech Seed is pretty slow for doubles, but it can kind of be annoying, as this guy is just sort of sitting here shooting off attacks with this incredible typing that kind of stonewalls a bunch of stuff and then just spam Leech Seed on things, allowing it to keep healing back. I've faced Mega Venusaur a couple times and I initially think, oh, this will be easy, what a bad Mega choice for doubles, and then I find myself actually struggling to kill the guy as it keeps getting value and chipping things. It is a defensive Mega, but it's also not that passive. It has a good special attack stat. It's actually doing stuff. Sleep really sets you back, and it's weirdly good. It's a weirdly good Mega, even though it did not seem at all like it would be. I don't know if I'm overrating it a bit, but I feel in my experience the guy is kind of awkward to kill, and it actually does more than you would think. Up next is Mega Garchomp. This Pokemon is known for competing with its own base form for viability, and often the base form comes out on top. Although Mega Garchomp has an enormous 170 attack, far higher than its base form, this is a Mega that loses speed upon Mega Evolving, down to a 92 base speed. And this is a real drawback. One of Garchomp's greatest advantages in its base form is that it's just above base 100 speed, which crucially outruns a bunch of common Pokemon. When you Mega Evolve, you are below base 100 speed, and you lose that advantage. Plus you're using the Mega slot for the privilege of losing this important speed benchmark. So there's opportunity cost associated with that. And Garchomp, in its base form, hits hard enough much of the time. But still, I think Mega Garchomp has its merit, and it's better in doubles than in singles, because Earthquake is an incredibly strong spread move that hits the whole field, including your own ally, but if you have a ground immune ally next to you, and you Mega Evolve for the enormous attack increase, it can actually be incredibly worth it. It's also possible that Tailwind is up, so you're already fast enough, and you have control over when you Mega Evolve. In doubles, you can get much more out of Mega Garchomp than you can in singles. That being said, I think that base Garchomp, even here, is still far better, and you would probably rather use your Mega elsewhere, but this is a viable Mega that can actually be worth using. And another thing in its favor is that it's a bit of a surprise. A lot of people don't expect Garchomp to Mega since it's much more common in its base form with a normal item. So the unexpected extra damage output can be a win condition and catch them way off guard, getting some real huge upside. Up next is Mega Golurk. It was a Pokemon that is far better than most people expected. Mega Golurk has proven to be a pretty good choice on Trick Room teams. It is a ground ghost type, with a low enough speed of 55 to work in the Trick Room and an incredible attack stat of 159. The typing and solid bulk also give it some staying power, and it has the ability Unseen Fist, which is nerfed in Pokemon Champions actually, and it has the same effect as Piercing Drill mentioned earlier. Contact moves will go through Protect, but only deal 25% of the original damage. This is a welcome nerf. I believe the entire VGC community absolutely hated Urshifu in prior formats for its ability to totally bypass protection. Very powerful concept. Now it only partially bypasses protection. Mega Golurk hits like a truck. It has Poltergeist, which is an incredible ghost stab option. I will say that sometimes this move can be awkward because it fails if the user has no held item. Sorry, the target has no held item. And this is a metagame full of berries, so if you're using this against a Pokemon that has consumed a berry, you actually can't even hit them. I actually won a battle against a Mega Golurk once because my Sinistcha had consumed its Ochre Berry, and therefore they couldn't hit my Sinistcha with Poltergeist because it had no item. So that can be awkward. It's still good though. Headlong Rush is a much appreciated new ground stab option, and it does make contact, which means that it will benefit from Unseen Fist, unlike Earthquake. And it's a very nice, powerful single target ground move that doesn't hurt your ally, which is appreciated too. And Mega Golurk gets decent physical coverage beyond this. Rock Slide is a solid coverage and spread option. Drain Punch for fighting. Fighting and Ghost go well together. And Ice Punch is also appreciated for coverage against various things, especially Garchomp. I think Mega Golurk is pretty good and a viable and solid Trick Room Pokemon. Up next is Mega Aggron, and I'm going to level with you. There is a part of me that is rating this highly because I personally keep losing to it. And that could be a skill issue, I could be an idiot, or I'm running a team that is particularly weak to Mega Aggron. But regardless, I think that Mega Aggron is actually kinda good. I think that of all the body press iron defense guys, Mega Aggron is kind of the most annoying to deal with, because that neutral steel typing, along with filter to reduce the damage from super effective moves, just makes it really defensively solid. It also has a hard-hitting stab-heavy slam, great into Floette. And yes, Mega Aggron is under fire from Charizard Y, literally, but that's what your teammates are for. If you can eliminate all the guys that would threaten Mega Aggron, which is actually a fairly limited pool of Pokemon, Mega Aggron can be an insane win con that is just unkillable. I actually kind of like it, and I might try it. Up next is Mega Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl is tied with Alakazam for being the fastest thing in the format with base 150 speed, and there is some merit to that. This Pokemon has an incredibly hard-hitting stab rock slide that hits both opponents, and is boosted by tough claws. Mega Aerodactyl was also granted dual wing beat in Pokemon Champions, which is kind of incredible. It's a stab flying type move that powers through Focus Sash. It's actually amazing to hit through Whimsicott and hit through Sneasler, who sometimes carries a Focus Sash. It's good coverage versus Sinistcha and Mega Meganium. A lot of things, really. Flying is an amazing offensive type. This is a huge get for Mega Aerodactyl. The thing about Mega Aerodactyl, though, is that it is competing with its own base form. Normal Aerodactyl is a really good Pokemon. It's a Tailwind setter with the dual wing beat to hit other common lead matchups. It has Unnerve as well to prevent enemies from eating berries, which is actually really significant. This is kind of the berry metagame because there's no other items in the game. There's so little items in the game that everyone's running berries. To be honest, berries are pretty common in VGC in general, but this is a particular berry-centric format. So Unnerve is going kind of crazy. And it gets other stuff like Taunt, plus in its base form it can carry a Focus Sash, which makes up for its frailty, while its Mega form is a bit more prone to just being one-shot by anything half decent. But considering its move pool is so great, its damage output is actually damn good, and its speed is literally the fastest thing in the world. Mega Aerodactyl, I think, has some potential. Up next is Mega Chestnut. This guy has a lot of stuff going for it. It has an extremely hard-hitting stab body press off the back of 172 base defense, which is incredible. Mega Chestnut has Bulletproof, which is very useful in the current metagame, as it is kind of completely immune to anything relevant from Mega Gengar. Anyone using Sludge Bomb or Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, it's a good ability, granting complete immunity to Sphere-based moves, or Bullet-based moves. Chestnut Mega, also one of the few things in the game with Wide Guard, which is very much appreciated. That can block Heat Wave from taking effect, and shield your ally from such a thing. You can run Iron Defense if you want. Mega Chestnut is a bit pressed for move slots. And I think Mega Aggron is a bit better as like an all-in Iron Defense body press guy, just because its typing is more sturdy against most things, plus filter helps. But I think Mega Chestnut would rather run something like Spiky Shields to chip things hitting you, and then some sort of other coverage like Wood Hammer, which is relevant against all the various water types running around. I actually think you can also consider Crunch just to ensure that you have a way to hit Mega Gengar, otherwise they could Perish Trap you, which is a bit of a problem. But if you can threaten to crunch them, then you're not as worried, so that's good. Knockoff is another option, but I actually think Crunch is nicer to deal more damage to Ghost type and other dark weak Megas, since Knockoff doesn't deal bonus damage to them, and that is important in the current meta. Mega Chestnut can also work on Trick Room, because it's so slow. It's not necessarily like an all-in Trick Room sweeper or anything, but it can fit on a Trick Room team, or maybe on a team that has Trick Room as an alternate game plan in some matchups. It can certainly work there. A cool Pokemon that I would like to try, I've not tried it yet, but when I've played against it, it's felt solid. It's got some good stuff. You can also run base Chestnut, to be honest. I think base Chestnut is also pretty good and doesn't require the Mega. But I think the sheer stat increase on defense in particular is the real draw to Chestnut. It is a very stat-efficient Pokemon. The stats are excellent on this. So it's not completely outclassed by its base form like some other guys are. Up next is Mega Drampa, which is a pleasant surprise. Mega Drampa is actually much better than I personally expected. Believe me, many of the commenters are telling me so. I predicted that Mega Drampa would be bad, and I have not heard the end of it recently. Oh boy. Don't worry, I'm filling out my Mega Drampa apology form. Don't worry. I'm very sorry to him. I'm very sorry, Mega Drampa, for doubting you. Look at him, he's a cool dragon. How could I have ever doubted him? Mega Drampa is proving to be a pretty good special attacker on Trick Room teams. Its speed is very low, which fits for the Trick Room. It's relatively bulky, 110 defense, 116 special defense, 78 HP. And its special attack is great, 160 special attack. Its ability is Berserk, which also base Drampa gets, which grants a +1 to special attack when you reach half or less of your max HP. This is usually kind of a bad ability, but Mega Drampa can actually make it work. It's pretty common for Mega Drampa to be hit into this range and get the boost. And if it managed to squeeze in a Calm Mind before that, the damage output can be pretty incredible. Hyper Voice has Stab on it, and it hits both opponents, which is pretty excellent. Dragon Pulse is usually the Dragon type attack of choice, and Mega Drampa has a pretty cool move pool. You can run Thunderbolt for coverage, Flamethrower for coverage, Ice Beam for coverage, or just Protect. You probably do want to Protect. That being said, Mega Drampa does have the issue of normal not being the greatest offensive type in the world. There are a lot of normal resists in the metagame right now. Tyranitar is the big one. Tyranitar resists normal, has a good special defense in the sand, and can hit you with a super effective low kick. Mega Drampa can learn Earth Power, but it's a bit of a risk to do a single target move and leave yourself vulnerable to the ally. The Tyranitar could also Protect in that instance. It is a good coverage though, but Hyper Voice is limited as a spread move. It's not the most spammable type in the world. Normal resists are very common, and so are normal immunities with a lot of ghost types in the format. But still, Mega Drampa I think is actually pretty damn good on Trick Room. And it is useful that in its base form it gets Cloud 9 to disable weather effects. Up next is Mega Lopunny, who is a fast, frail attacker. Generally a death sentence in doubles unless you can have a Focus Sash on, which Megas cannot. But Mega Lopunny, I think, can actually make up for this a little bit. One, because of its great speed tier of 135, which outruns Sneasler and Mega Gengar and Aerodactyl. It's a very nice speed tier. The other reason is for its ability Scrappy, which is a great ability. Scrappy means that your normal and fighting type attacks can hit ghost types. And Mega Lopunny has access to Fake Out, one of the best doubles moves generally, which 100% flinches an enemy. And it's even better on Mega Lopunny because of Scrappy, as it's able to hit ghost types. You can crucially flinch a Mega Gengar or a Frostlass or a Mega Golurk or a Basculegion, various things. Ghosts are powerful and common. What's awkward about Mega Lopunny though is that it doesn't benefit from the other effect of Scrappy. Scrappy also grants an immunity to Intimidate, lowering your attack, but because your base form does not have Scrappy, if the enemy just sends out an Intimidate Pokemon on turn 1, you will still have your attack lowered, and then when you Mega Evolve, you will not erase that attack decrease, which is a bit awkward. But the other benefit of Scrappy is much appreciated. You have an incredibly great close combat that can actually one-shot Frostlass, which is huge, and you have U-Turn, which can make up for your frailty a little bit and allow you to reset Fake Out, which is very nice. At the moment, it's really good to have a Fake Out that is faster than Sneasler's Fake Out. So that is a genuine benefit to Mega Lopunny. That being said, it does really suffer from the frailty. It is not going to survive most hits, but as far as fast, frail Megas go, it has the Disruption, it has the Pivoting, and it has Scrappy, which allows it to threaten so many more things and get so much more out of Fake Out. So I think Mega Lopunny has some genuine merit. Up next is Mega Meganium. Mega Meganium is incredibly popular on the ladder. I'm sure if you've played any ranked, you've seen this guy. And I think that that's because people are very excited that Mega Meganium got such an awesome exclusive new ability. Mega Soul is one of the coolest ability designs they've made in a while, in my opinion. I really love it. Mega Soul means that anytime Meganium executes a move, it acts as if Sun is up. It doesn't set Sun, but the move acts as if Sun is up. So for example, Solar Beam will execute in a single turn without Sun actually having to be up, and no matter what weather is up, which is absolutely amazing. You just get access to this incredible grass type attack with no cost. You can also use Synthesis, and Synthesis will act like Sun is up, which means it will heal for 2/3 of your max HP, so you get an incredible healing move too. And Weather Ball also synergizes with Mega Soul, allowing Weather Ball to always be fire type and gain bonus damage too, because the bonus fire type damage applies from Mega Soul. Now I think Mega Meganium is a bit overused for how good it is. People are mostly sort of forcing it because they like it, but I do think it is actually alright. It is bulky. The Grass Fairy typing is pretty good. It has a great special attack stat, and this ability enables these really cool options. Grass Fire is perfect coverage almost. You get this insane healing, and usually you just run Protect as last move. What's awkward about Mega Meganium is that it is dreadful against poison moves, and it really sucks for Mega Meganium that one of the most popular Pokemon in the game right now is Sneasler. Sneasler is a dreadful matchup. It will one-shot you with Dire Claw, and you can't really do much about it. So Mega Meganium desperately has to eliminate Sneasler or it doesn't get to exist. And Mega Gengar is another tough one because Mega Gengar carries Sludge Bomb, which one-shots you too. Those are the two big poison type users right now, but there are other Pokemon that also run poison coverage occasionally, and that is another disaster for Mega Meganium. Other than that though, its defensive typing actually feels pretty good, and it feels pretty sturdy. I think it's a solid Mega on Rain teams because it benefits from Rain reducing the damage of fire type attacks, and just because Rain is up doesn't mean Mega Soul won't act like Sun is up, so Rain doesn't put you into any disadvantage. It just actually helps you. And Rain teams tend to enjoy having a grass type on them for defensive reasons, as they have a lot of water types. So you fill out the type chart a little bit, and they complement you by resisting fire too. Some of this might be new toy syndrome and a bit of bias, just because I think it's awesome. And I've played against it. I feel like it's really solid from my experience against it. It usually gets good value and is a little bit hard to KO and is effective at what it does. But it might be a bit overrated. I don't know. We'll have to see how the meta shakes out over time. It could just be that people like to use it because it's cool and fun and new. Up next is Mega Glimmora. Mega Glimmora is actually a lot better than I gave it credit for. I would also like to apologize to Mega Glimmora. In my defense, though, when I made those videos about Drampa and Glimmora, I was thinking of them in the context of competitive singles, which is what I have historically played the most. I am now on a bit of a doubles arc, and in the context of doubles, the things are completely different, of course. And Glimmora in singles is very reliant on its held item, so it didn't feel like a worthwhile Mega for your team, probably. Also, in my defense, the reason Mega Glimmora is good right now is actually because of specific meta conditions, I think, rather than its inherent merits. Mega Glimmora is a rock poison type, and it's a special attacking Mega, with 150 base special attack and 101 speed. Its ability is adaptability for bonus damage on stamp moves, which is a pretty good one, resulting in an impressive damage output on this guy. And part of the reason this Pokemon is so good is because it is 1 point above 100. As I've said before, a lot of Megas are base 100. A lot of Pokemon are base 100 speed. In particular, Mega Charizard Y is 1 point slower than you and dies in a single hit to your Power Gem, which is ×4 super effective. You also outrun Mega Gardevoir by 1 point of speed and hit it with a super effective Sludge Bomb to one-hit KO that. Unfortunately, you don't quite outrun Mega Floette, though, who is 102 speed, a bit of an epic troll. How could they do that? How could they make Mega Floette a single point of speed above Glimmora? But to be honest, it doesn't really matter because you resist Fairy, and you strike it back with a lethal Sludge Bomb anyway, so you still match up well against Mega Floette, which is a big one. Plus, some of them are modest anyway. Mega Glimmora also lethally threatens Incineroar. You can Earth Power, which is great coverage, and it hits Sneasler. And Sneasler, I don't think can quite one-hit you with close combat. You have decent natural bulk of base 105 defense, so you can take a close combat and strike back with an Earth Power. You threaten Primarina with Sludge Bomb. I think you get Energy Ball too, which is also great coverage. Yes, indeed you do, and that can hit Rotom Wash and such. You want to protect somewhere, but the offensive options are numerous. It's actually a pretty good anti-meta Mega right now. I did not expect Glimora to be one of the better new megas in the VGC doubles metagame, but that is the case. And it's because its positive matchup against all the fire and fairy types that are central is so excellent. Up next is Mega Crabominable, and once again, I have proven to be a doofus. Another Pokemon that I predicted would be pure garbage is actually kind of good. Mega Crabominable is yet another genuine Trick Room threat. This guy has 33 speed, which is very low. Excellent offensive stats, actually decent bulk with a pretty high physical defense and a high HP. And it's got the new ability Iron Fist, which grants a bonus to punch-based attacks. Not the most exciting option, but a straightforward damage increase does make a difference here when Drain Punch and Muk Punch both receive a boost from that. Ice Fighting is kind of an insane offensive combination, and we've sort of never seen it be so effective before, but under Trick Room, Mega Crabominable can finally take full advantage of this typing, and it's pretty insane. Ice Hammer is a very hard-hitting ice stab option, and Drain Punch heals you as well, which makes you even harder to KO. This combination is pretty incredible, because many of the things that Ice can't hit, Drain Punch can, and vice versa. And Muk Punch for the Cryo just makes it even more difficult. This actually makes you somewhat functional outside of Trick Room, because you can actually hit things for big when Trick Room is not active. How auspicious. I saw a video Freezai made where he built a team around Mega Crabominable, and it was absolutely incredible. There was a Ninetales, I believe, to give snow support. With Aurora Veil and Snow up, by the way, this thing will never die, because Snow boosts Ice type's defense, and also Aurora Veil boosts your defensive prowess as well, reducing all incoming damage. That's an incredible combo. And if you manage to get Trick Room up, this guy's kind of a machine, he is. He sort of threatens the entire metagame with truly outstanding damage. I would really like to try this Pokemon, it seems really fun. And I do apologize to Crab Nation. I had a massive lack of respect for this guy who's proven to be one of the better new Megas in the game. Up next is Mega Dragonite. I thought Mega Dragonite wouldn't be that good, I'm gonna be honest. It was revealed that Mega Dragonite's ability would be multi-scale prior to launch, and I just didn't think that sounded that exciting. It's a solid ability that halves incoming damage while your Pokemon is at full HP, but I just thought it would be something flashier, something that increases your special damage output, something unique. This is just what base Dragonite gets. But in practice, Mega Dragonite I think has proven to be a solid Pokemon. And it's not doing anything particularly flashy, it's kind of just a well-rounded, high-stat Pokemon. It's got great bulk, 115 defense, 125 special defense, 91 HP, and that multi-scale to halve incoming damage. It's got a speed boost up to base 100, and it's a special attacker now with 145 special attack. And this guy's proven to be a good choice on rain teams because of its perfectly accurate stab hurricane. Flying is a great offensive type in the meta, hitting a bunch of stuff for relevant damage. It's really useful to just always feel like Dragonite can survive at least one hit and do something. And often it survives multiple hits just because of that sheer bulk, the nice typing too with a lot of resistances, and the utility of Tailwind is also appreciated. Tailwind doubles the speed of your team temporarily. You even get Thunder, which works in the rain, Draco Meteor for a big stab hit, or just Dragon Pulse if you want something more reliable. I've been facing this a lot because it is a free Pokemon that you get just for logging into the game, a free reward for early players. So you do see it all the time, and usually when I face it, I feel like it's really solid. It's sticking around for a while, doing something useful, getting a KO probably. If not, it's doing big chip to something, applying pressure, or setting up Tailwind. It's doing something useful. Definitely a Pokemon that exceeded my expectations. This guy did not look that exciting on paper, but in practice, it is much more effective than you would think at a glance. Up next is Mega Gyarados. Mega Gyarados is a solid choice. Base Gyarados is already really good. It has Intimidate, one of the strongest doubles abilities. It's got solid stats and plenty of great utility like Taunt and Thunderwave and Icy Wind. It's also a hard-hitting attacker with Waterfall and Crunch and other coverage. And it's perfect to have Intimidate in your base form so that you can do something incredible when you first switch in and then Mega Evolve and change into something else. Mega Gyarados has a Dark Water typing when it Mega Evolves, and it gains significantly increased stats. Mega Gyarados is incredibly threatening with 155 attack, incredibly bulky too with really solid defenses, especially the 130 base special defense. And it feels like a very versatile Pokemon. A lot of the time you don't want to Mega with it, you want to maintain Intimidate. Sometimes you do Mega to gain the stats, gain the new typing. You can run Dragon Dance on it and run it as a win condition, which actually works in doubles, even though this feels like more of a single set. This can work and can win you a game in doubles too. Or you can just run it as a general utility guy with Thunder Wave and Waterfall and Crunch, just like a bulky attacker that hits things, paralyzes. Icy Wind is good, Taunt is good. Just a great Mega with many different options with incredible flexibility. Up next is Mega Delphox, who has proven to be among the strongest of the new Legends EA Megas. For a while we've known that Mega Delphox's ability is Levitate, and a lot of people were upset by this because it meant that Mega Delphox could not abuse Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain. But it turns out that Psychic Terrain is not really a huge part of this metagame. There are manual Psychic Terrain setters, those are pretty good, but it's not insanely central like it has been in prior metagames with Indeedee and Tapu Lele. So Mega Delphox actually just feels like a generally solid special attacker, and Levitate is much more of a positive thing, to be honest. Ground immunity kind of goes insane. I mean, Garchomp is everywhere, ground coverage generally common. Levitate is huge. This thing's stats are through the roof. 134 speed is incredible. 159 special attack, also incredible. And you've got that spread Heat Wave to hit both opponents. You outrun Sneasler and hit it with Psychic for a one hit. That's kind of huge. You got a pretty incredible set of other options in your move pool too. Generally you want Protect, but you got Dazzling Gleam for another option for spread that also hits dark types. Substitute I've seen some people use because it plays around Sucker Punch. You are a bit vulnerable to Sucker Punch from fellas like King Gambit, so it can be nice to play around that with Substitute. There's also Nasty Plot if you want to just go insane and maximize your damage output. Mega Delphox is actually kind of bulky with a high special defense, so if you're in the right position to take a hit and set up the Nasty Plot, or you just predict that the enemy's going to play defensively and you can punish that, you could just win instantly. I mean, a Nasty Plotted up Mega Delphox with Heat Wave, one-shotting everything, it's incredible. This is a straightforwardly good Pokemon right here. It's high speed, high special attack, and it hits a move that hits the whole field. What more do you need to know? You can't go too wrong with a Mega Delphox, to be honest. It's a damn good Mega Evolution. Up next is Mega Gardevoir. This has proven to be one of the most solid Megas in the format, and it's easy to see why. This Pokemon has an incredible 165 special attack, 100 base speed, and the ability Pixelate, which turns normal type moves into fairy type moves and grants them an incredible power bonus. With access to Hyper Voice, which now becomes fairy type with an even higher power and hits both opponents, this is a straightforwardly strong special attacker. It does have competition from Mega Floette, but it sets itself apart from Mega Floette in a couple ways. To be honest, the damage output is similar, but Mega Gardevoir has access to Trick Room, which is pretty incredible. Even though it's not the slowest thing in the world with base 100, even if your team is not all in on Trick Room and running the slowest Pokemon ever, you can still get value out of it. It effectively cancels out the enemy's Tailwind if they've used that. If the enemy's boosted up their speed or is running Choice Scarf, Swift Swim, etc., Trick Room is an incredible tool to have. Even if they just have fast guys on the field, faster than you, Trick Room is great. You can support a slow ally, you can turn the tables and control the speed, become faster than the enemy, depending on the situation. It's a great tool to have. Mega Gardevoir's stab psychic moves are also appreciated to hit the poison types that resist fairy. Psychic Noise is a cool one because it prevents healing, can block a citrus berry from taking effect, stop leftovers from happening. Most probably just prefer the higher damage output or the benefit of Psyshock hitting through defense rather than special defense. The most common is just stab psychic. And Mega Gardevoir gets cool coverage too. Aura Sphere is nice as a way to hit steel types. That comes in handy. It's just a damn solid Pokemon. And I talked about Mega Altaria before and how it had potential. It's just really hard to pass up on the significantly higher special attack offered by Mega Gardevoir compared to Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria is feeling so weak by comparison. Up next, I've got Mega Kangaskhan. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Bit of bias here because this is the Mega I have been using the most personally. Just because I happened to get it in my free-to-play challenge. and I wanted a solid, strong fake-out Pokemon. But to be honest, I think that this Mega is a bit slept on right now. I think that a lot of people aren't using it because of the fact that it got severely nerfed from last time. In the prior metagames where this was legal, it was the best Mega in the game, and it was on every team ever, and they have since nerfed it. It no longer gets the crucial option of Power Up Punch, which used to hit twice and grant an attack boost for each hit, which was incredibly powerful. It also doesn't get Seismic Toss anymore, so it's severely limited, but I think Mega Kangaskhan still has some incredible merit. Parental Bond is just a great ability that causes Mega Kangaskhan to hit twice. The mother does the first attack and then the child steps in with the second attack. A mother and son duo, very inspirational. The second hit is of course a little bit weaker because the child has not matured to the point of its peak physicality yet, but we can forgive the child for not dishing out as much damage as the mother. That's to be expected. Still, the result is an incredible amount of damage output, and a big neutral double edge will smack just about anything. Mega Kangaskhan also, crucially, in its base form, has the ability Scrappy, which is huge. That means it is immune to Intimidate, and it can occasionally stay as its base form to fake out a ghost type, which actually can be useful. But the big part is that you don't get intimidated on turn 1, so you can lead this off against an Incineroar, not get intimidated, and then you have a faster fake out than Incineroar. This is kind of an incredible anti-Incineroar guy for this reason, and I love using it. I love leading with it because it's an incredible enabler for my ally. It's a real team player. It's a reliable fake out Pokemon. I have been running this set, Fake Out, Double Edge, Sucker Punch, and Brick Break. Sucker Punch is great just to hit like a Mega Frostlass clicking Blizzard or a Dragapult clicking something. Sometimes you can Sucker Punch Sinistcha after you catch them clicking Macho Gotcha. Also, Mega Gengar gets destroyed by Sucker Punch, and that's very good. The reason I'm running Brick Break is because I was formerly running Rock Slide, and I found it good in many scenarios, but if I ever faced a Steel type, my Mega Kangaskhan was in shambles. So I needed Brick Break to threaten Steel types. It also threatens Rock types. Rock types are also a problem. And this is really nice also. I chose this over Drain Punch because it breaks screen effects like Aurora Veil, Light Screen Reflect. And Aurora Veil is actually kind of common, and it's nice to have a tech in that matchup to break Aurora Veil. I think this is the most underrated Mega in the game right now. I actually think it's extremely solid. It does incredible work. It's versatile. It's a great team enabler. It's just always useful. It's always useful. I've been really impressed with Mega Kangaskhan's performance on my team, and I'll probably continue using it. Plus, she's a mother. The hardest job in the world. Up next is Mega Tyranitar. This Pokemon is just extremely solid. This is a very weather-centric metagame, and Mega Tyranitar is kind of the ideal anti-weather guy. Against all of these sun and rain teams that are desperately trying to keep their weather up, it's amazing to have a Pokemon that switches in, sets sand, and then at any point can Mega Evolve and set sand again, overriding weather twice, potentially. So that's incredibly useful, and that's one of the main reasons Mega Tyranitar is so good. But also, I mean, just look at the guy's stats. Extraordinary stats, massive attack, absolutely through the roof bulk, 150 base defense, are you kidding? Also, you get a special defense boost in the sand. Mega Tyranitar has an incredible move pool too, with Rock Slide, with Stab on it, one-shots Mega Charizard, hits like a truck, hits everything on the field. I've been running Crunch because I think the extra damage versus Megas is relevant, but you can also run Knock Off if you prefer item removal. I think Crunch is a bit better in current metagame. Low Kick, I think, is really good because it one-shots a lot of important stuff. King Gambit, it hits our Chaladon for big damage. Steel types in general, it's kind of the perfect coverage to round you out right now, and there's a lot of heavy Pokemon in the game right now too, so the weight-based damage is really appreciated. This is my personal favorite set, but you've got plenty of options. Taunt is always nice. You can run Thunder Wave if you want a bit of utility. All sorts of coverage. I believe you also get Brick Break if you want fighting coverage that breaks screens instead of Low Kick. You cannot go too wrong with a Mega Tyranitar. It's not even necessary to run a full-on Sand team either to run this. It's just really good at shutting down enemies' weather, ruining their game plan while being just an incredibly solid Pokemon in its own right. But you can also run this with Excadrill, the Sand Rush, and that's really good too, especially when you're more reliable at keeping sand up due to having 2 Sand Stream activations in your back pocket. That is very good. Up next is Mega Floette. Most people expected Mega Floette to be very good. Most people also predicted that its ability would be Snow Warning in advance before it was officially revealed, and to nobody's surprise, the Pokemon is outstanding in the competitive doubles metagame for pretty straightforward reasons. It's a fantastic weather setter that creates snow in the field. It's fast with 120 base speed, it's got a great special attack of 140, and access to Blizzard, which synergizes with the snow it itself creates, hitting both opponents for a massive high power of 110 and being perfectly accurate. Mega Floette also gets Aurora Veil, which only works in snow and shields your allies from incoming damage for 5 turns, taking halved damage. The Aurora Veil damage reduction alongside the boost to your defense in the snow also results in Mega Floette being kind of bulky. Even though you'd think it's frail, it is in effect more bulky than it looks. And it gets Shadow Ball. Even though there's no snow synergy in the game, really, this is just a strong, self-sufficient Pokemon that has this incredible spread move and incredible utility. It's a strong Mega to just throw on a team, and similar to Mega Tyranitar, it's a good Pokemon to cancel the enemy weather game plan and remove their weather, overwriting it with your own snow, which is powerful. I happen to quite like Mega Floette. I haven't used it yet, but I feel like it's pretty balanced and a cool new Mega that has a strong and healthy presence in the format, in my opinion. Up next is Mega Gengar, folks, known in Chinese as Gengui. Everybody say ni hao to Mega Gengui, please. It's very rude not to, actually. If you don't say ni hao to Mega Gengui, I consider it a bit of an insult. Anyway, Mega Gengar is one of the strongest Megas in singles, of course, and that carries over to doubles as well. Some things are universal. Mega Gengar has it all. Shadow Tag, an insane ability that traps both opponents on the field, preventing them from switching. This paired with Mega Gengar's incredible offensive stats with 170 base special attack, which is absurd, and 130 speed, which is also elite, is a serious recipe for success. And you may think that in doubles, Mega Gengar's frailty would catch up to it. It is weak defensively with only 60 HP and rather low defenses for a Mega, but Mega Gengar gets by. I think the sheer power of Shadow Tag is really carrying it, as just being able to restrict the enemy's options so significantly, completely denying them from switching out at all, is just so powerful. It enhances the strength of your ally too, as you can kind of create checkmate situations with it, erasing multiple options from your opponent and trapping the present Pokemon on the field with no way out. There are ways around Shadow Tag, of course. If you're a ghost type, you can still exit, and if you pivot out, you can exit the field too, but Shadow Tag does trap a lot of Pokemon, most Pokemon, and this is incredibly valuable. Mega Gengar is faster than most things, one-shots a lot of things with Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb. It even has Icy Wind for spread support that lowers speed. And of course, Mega Gengar doesn't have to run an offensive set like that either. It can go with Perish Trap strategies as well. Perish Song is a move that affects the whole field and causes all active Pokemon to gain a status condition on them that causes them to faint after 3 turns unless they switch out. And since you're trapping them with you, they can't switch out, can they? This can create scenarios where you just Perish Song, stall turns with Protect and Substitute and Disable, and then on the last turn you're about to die, you switch out your Pokemon and they die because they can't switch out because they're trapped. This is actually quite a good strategy right now. I consider it a bit dishonorable. Rather than actually engaging in battle, Mega Gengar just connects to the Bluetooth speaker and puts on Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, which is a song that causes you to perish in 3 turns, and then just sits there, putting his fingers in his ears so he doesn't hear it and he doesn't die, and then he leaves the room so that everyone else dies. It's quite despicable. If I could use a word to describe it, I would call it despicable, but regardless, it's unfortunately a very powerful strategy in the metagame right now and something you must reckon with if you're playing Pokemon Champions. Mega Gengar is undeniably great, not quite as good as it is in singles, and even still, one of the strongest Megas in the game. Up next, we have Xerneas at home. Just kidding, we have Mega Floette. And this Mega is quite controversial right now, because it's extraordinarily powerful, and it's only available to you if you've played Legends ZA. This Pokemon is extremely similar to the excellent legendary Xerneas. It's a fairy type, mono fairy type, with a massive special attack stat of 155 and an incredible special defense of 148 as well. 102 speed is above average for a Mega in many cases, as many of them are base 100. And it has the ability Fairy Aura, which grants 1.33x, repeating of course, power to Fairy-type moves. It actually applies to the whole field, but Floette itself benefits immediately from this, and that incredible damage boost on top of the high special attack you already have, and just the absolute spamming of Fairy-type attacks is an extremely simple but an extremely effective strategy right now. Usually what people do is put a Mega Floette next to a Redirector. Mouse Hold is a common one because it also has Friend Guard to reduce incoming damage on Floette. So you put Mouse Hold next to Floette, click Follow Me on the Mouse Hold, they take the damage for you, and then you Calm Mind up. One Calm Mind is often enough to just start going in with Dazzling Gleams, hitting both opponents for huge damage and winning through sheer Fairy-type brute force. This is the most common set I've seen. Some players run Draining Kiss instead of Moonblast because it also heals you significantly, has less power, but you recover 75% of damage dealt. I feel like every VGC format just has a Fairy type that clicks Fairy moves and does nothing else. It's just what has to happen. And it is very unfortunate that you need ZA to get this guy. It's a bit lame, I'll admit. Especially because it's one of the strongest things in the game. And it's kind of strong in the most stupid and straightforward way possible, where it's just clicking a big button. But what are you going to do, folks? What are you going to do? It's Game Freak's world, and we're living in it. The little Cuphead-looking guy with an umbrella. Strongest thing of all time. We can't stop them. They're having a laugh. They're having a laugh and we can't stop them. And yet, number one on the list, the best Mega in the game is, in the eyes of most people, Mega Charizard Y. You could actually flip between this or Floette. But in my opinion, I have seen Mega Charizard Y more often, and I feel as if Mega Charizard Y is the most central thing in the game right now that you need a response to, that is dominating like crazy. You're seeing it in every tournament, you're seeing it in ranked constantly. I think that this is the best Mega in the game. Mega Charizard Y is incredibly powerful. It has an excellent special attack stat of 159 and the ability Drought, which sets Sun on the field upon Mega Evolution. The simple combination that is the crux of its power is Drought plus Heat Wave. This is a spread move that hits both opponents. You have a high special attack, it's Stab, and it gets boosted even further by the Sun. Charizard Mega Y also gets Solar Beam as fantastic coverage to hit water types. And that's basically all you need offensively. These two and Protect, and the next slot can be whatever. I think most people run Flamethrower just as a single target fire move to not be weak to Wide Guard or perhaps miss Heat Wave, so that's nice to have. Overheat is another option just for overwhelming damage that can one-shot more things. I've also seen Dragon Pulse because it's useful coverage. There's a lot of dragon types in the meta right now, so that can be good. Mega Charizard Y is kind of self-sufficient. You don't need to run Sun Synergy for this to be amazing, but you can also run this alongside Venusaur, and that does very well. They're an incredible combo. Venusaur gains double speed in the Sun with Chlorophyll. It itself has Solar Beam. It has Sleep Powder, which is incredible when your speed is boosted and you can put something to sleep quickly. It's a classic combo, Venusaur in the Sun, and it works just as well now as it always has. Even if sleep is nerfed, it's still very good. Even though this Pokemon is insanely powerful, I think it's an alright top Mega for the game to center around. I sort of like the Weather War dynamic this meta is having, to be honest. I think that when you see a Zard Y, it's sort of satisfying to shut down its weather and eliminate it. It's sort of a fun push and pull where I'm trying to shut down their Sun and eliminate their Charizard, and they're trying to eliminate the things that eliminate their Charizard. You know, and it can get quite nuanced actually. And I'm sure it will continue to develop as more things will arise to counter Charizard, more Charizard teams will adapt to counter the counters to them. You know, we've already seen like Whimsicott with Sunny Day as a response to all the anti-weather. You know, a Tyranitar comes in, sets Sand, and then Whimsicott sets Sunny Day to re-enable Charizard, and then Solar Beam into the Tyranitar, something like that. It's cool. I like Weather Wars. I think they're fun. I haven't used this Pokemon, but if any Mega is going to be number one, I think there's not a terrible one. Not a terrible one to dominate the metagame. And that's my list, folks. Personally, I am more positive with the set of Megas that we have access to the more I've played. I think it's pretty damn cool that Frostlass is so good. I think it's cool that Mega Crab and Drampa are way better than I expected. Mega Glamora has genuine merit. A lot of the new Megas are pure garbage, like Victory Bell just does absolutely nothing. They just feels like a total waste of a guy. Mega Chimecho is a huge shame too. I feel like that could have been something cool and they just completely squandered it. But there are some fresh new Megas. It's fun to play with Megas again too, and not have Terra but have Megas instead. I do think it's a fun mechanic. I like that the abilities change mid-game. There's a choice to make when you Mega. It's a central guy that you build your team around. I like the team building flexibility of running 2 potential Megas depending on matchup. It's fun, in my opinion. What do you think though, folks? Are you fond of the current Mega-centric metagame, or do you dislike it? Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.